Hello, 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 everyone. This is Dr. David checking in. We got about a minute till 0 hour. You're going to want to make sure that you guys got stuff to write on, stuff to write with. You guys know the drill. We'll be starting in less than a minute. So if you haven't gotten your stuff, when would now be a good time to get it? Make sure your phones are off the hook and or whatever counts as a hook these days. Make sure the pets won't disturb you. You won't be disturbed for the next 2.5-ish hours, give or take. And we'll see you in just a few minutes. Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. David checking in, and welcome to How to Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind, How to Master Your Mind, Change Your Life, and Write Your Ticket in this world. Over the next 2.5 to 3 hours, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the most important, simplest, and easiest to utilize, but little known ways to reprogram your subconscious mind for health, wealth, success, and happiness. I'm Dr. David Snyder, and for the next 2.5 to 3 hours, I'm going to be your guide through some of the most amazing and interesting, easy to apply things to use. I'm going to help you unlock the magic of your nervous system. But before we get into tonight's content, we have some administravia we have to go through, as is our tradition. First of all, to the YouTube censors and those of you who are easily offended. If politically incorrect language, colorful metaphors, swearing, or the word boobies offend you, maybe this isn't the best use of your time. My intention is never to offend anyone, but I do tend to provoke and use provocative language to get you to start to become more aware of what your own mind and body are doing in certain contexts. Because until it's provoked, you don't know it's there. And if you don't know it's there, you can't fix it. That being said, let me go through a couple of other things. First of all, how many of you, by a show of that's me in the chat, are first timers experiencing the madness and the mayhem that is Dr. David Snyder and Planet David? If you're brand new, check in with us, type in your name, where you're checking in from, and what you would most like to take away from the next 90 minutes to 2.5 hours, give or take. Usually our webinars run a bit long. I'm just going to let you know that up front because we're big on content, right? I know a lot of people like to get in, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and they're off. I like to spend some time with my viewers and my subscribers and my students to help them get the most fulfilling experience from these trainings. That being said, I'm going to just put something out there right there. You're going to hear me say things throughout this webinar that you may agree with, that correspond and validate other trainings that you've had. You hear me say things that directly contradict what you've learned in other sources and other webinars and other things like that. You may things that make you feel good. You may hear things that make you feel not so good. Here's the thing. Take what you get and apply it. If it works for you, keep it. If it doesn't, throw it away. That being said, it is not necessary, and this is something that's a kind of a hallmark of our technologies. It is not necessary or required for you to believe a single thing I'm going to share with you or teach you on tonight's webinar. Belief is not necessary. Desire is. You have to want the thing that we're going for in order for that to manifest, but you don't have to believe it. You just have to have a sincere desire to open your mind, follow the mechanical processes, and experience the effect. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of tonight's webinar because I want you to understand our approach to content, delivering content to you, and to making sure that people come away from this webinar with the greatest possibility of transformation. So yes, there is an offer connected to tonight's webinar. There's an offer and an amazing training package connected to every webinar that we do. Why? Because we'd be negligent not to. We'd be stupid not to show you all of these amazing things that are pieces of much bigger systems and then not point you in the direction of where to go to get access to everything. That would be completely irresponsible on our part. But my promise to you is this. I'm going to take you as far down the rabbit hole of the unconscious mind and reprogramming it as I can tonight. I will show you everything I can in the time that we have, which, by the way, if this is the scope of everything there is to learn about how to reprogram your subconscious mind and unlock the magic within it, we've got time for this. So I will take you as far down this rabbit hole as I can. I will give you the foundations that you need. I will give you the practices that will skyrocket your success out in the real world just from tonight's webinar. And then I will point you in the direction of where to go to level your skills up even further. Is that a fair trade? If you feel that's fair trade, go ahead and type that's fair. I'll go for that in the chat, so I know you're with me. YouTubers, thank you for sharing, for logging in. We got about a minute or so lag between when our Zoom room hits and when our feed hits the YouTube people. So by all means, feel free to type in the chat when you get this message. That being said, I know I see a lot of veterans in the chat tonight too. A lot of Planet Davidians, as we like to say, not the Branch Davidians. That's a completely different cult, right? But so tonight, let me ask you guys, veterans, raise your hands in the chat. How long have you been in Planet David? Where are you checking in from? And what do you want to take away from tonight? Usually what you'll find out is that I try to recruit my veterans in the chat, because a lot of times I start getting, the chat starts going by faster and faster and faster. And what generally happens is the questions fly by so fast that I don't get a chance to read them. But if you see questions, veterans, if you see questions in the chat that you have experience using our technologies to answer, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to those people and help get them their questions answered. That being said, if I see a question and it's relevant to where we are in the webinar, I'm happy to answer it. If by some reason you still don't get your question answered, but you really want that answer, when the replay of this video goes live, type your question in the comments section below this replay. I make it a practice as often as I can to go through all of the comments on every single video in our YouTube channel and answer them personally. So you will get an answer one way or another. That being said, lots of people checking in. We got Missouri, we got California, we got Ocoee, Florida, we got Australia. Oh my goodness. We got Norway's in the house. Yay, Iowa. 7 years is not enough, Richard says. That's nice. Edie's with us. Shane's first time interested in healing. Excellent. We got Richard shouting my name across the ethers. All right. All right. All right. So what do you guys want to learn tonight? Tonight, I want to teach you how limiting beliefs. I want to teach you how to remove blocks to your success, how to get rid of any kind of physical, mental, or emotional pain, how to remove procrastination. I got so many things on the agenda that I could share with you. What do you want to know about? What do you want to know about? Type it in the chat. Would like to reprogram mind to make more confidence in decision making. Okay, so James, you want to be able to make decisions better. That's great. We actually have a really interesting process for that. Helmut saying, I'm from Aachen, Germany. Excellent. So what do you guys want to learn tonight? What do you want to know about? Remove procrastination. Okay. So we got procrastination and decisions. Anything else? My whole life, top to bottom. Well, that might be a little much for one webinar, Ether, but we'll see what we can do. Play with the subconscious mind. Well, we're going to play with the subconscious mind. That's not a problem. All right. So for those of you in Planet David, who the heck is Dr. David Snyder and why should I care? First of all, I am actually a doctor of Chinese acupuncture and Oriental medicine. I got my doctorate from Pacific College of Oriental Medicine. I graduated from Southern California University of Health Science in 2005 with a master's degree and a license in acupuncture. I just recently completed my doctorate in Chinese energetic medicine, which is all the shamanic, Taoist, Buddhist, energy healing stuff that was pre-communist Chinese medicine. I've got more energy healing credentials than McDonald's sells hamburgers. I've authored over 15 different products on various forms of human influence. In fact, in 2020, I was named the #1 NLP trainer in the world by globalgurus.org. As far as I know, I'm the only one that ever replaced Richard Bandler for one whole year in that spot. So I'm very proud of that. But I've been in the #2 spot, right under Richard, for the last 9 years. So our programs are featured all over the world. They've been ranked the #1 training programs in the world. Tonight, you're going to be exposed to some techniques and technologies from a program we call Identity by Design, or real world hypnotherapy. It was designed to help people rebuild the building blocks of their personality and temperament to become the person you truly want to be, instead of the person that nature, education, culture programmed you to be. So tonight we're going to systematically show you, we're going to show you elements from that system, and we're going to let you apply them on yourself with guidance from me, of course. And then so for the first part of our webinar is we divide our webinar into 3 phases. The first phase is going to be foundations. We're going to teach you things that everyone should know about their unconscious mind. Everyone should know these things. And if they just knew them, changing themselves and changing others would be so much easier and so much more simple. But for whatever reason, no one ever discovered them. No one ever wanted to teach them. Tonight, I'm going to pull back the curtain on the things you absolutely do need to know and understand to be able to make just about any change that you want on your own. But I'll show you how to go and get help if you need it. Right? So foundations is phase 1. Phase 2 is next steps. Next steps is where we show you the packages and the programs that we've put together, that these techniques that we're going to be sharing with you in part 1 are drawn from, so that you can decide to go for a higher level of training and more interaction with me and the Planet David team, so to speak. Part 3 is your time. And what do I mean by that? Part 3 is where we customize your needs, your desires, the things you logged onto the webinar tonight to handle. So for example, people were asking about procrastination, making better decisions, right? That's the time when we can actually drill down on those specific technologies. And we'll spend the next 30, 40, 50 minutes in part 3 of the webinar just drilling down on the things you as a group want more to learn about. Okay. So our friend from Norway is just, I'm sorry, I'm being distracted by some of the interesting languaging in the chat. Anyway, so let me just go into this. I'm actually not a big PowerPoint fan. So I've got multiple black belts in the martial arts. I've got a long and somewhat arduous curriculum vitae. So tonight I want to get into some really powerful things. I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you. But before I do, let's make sure you're in the right place. I'm going to read off some common issues that people want to handle. And you let me know by a show of that's me in the chat, what you want to, which ones resonate with you. How many of you, by a show of hands, would like to reprogram your subconscious mind to attract more wealth, abundance, prosperity, health, happiness, maybe even be super attractive themselves? Anybody here interested in something like that? We're going to show you how to do that. How many of you would like to banish the fear, insecurity, and enjoy more confidence in your life? Would that be something that would be helpful to you? Overcome fear of social phobias. Excellent. How would you guys like to go out and just make more money? Just have that unstoppable success mindset that allows you to just rule and dominate in any business situation. We're going to show you the building blocks to how to make that happen. Okay. How about protecting yourself from manipulation? Anybody here ever been lied to, misled, cheated, conned, abused in any way, and would like to stop that shit from happening once and for all? Say, that's me in the chat. If you've said yes to anything I've said so far, you're in the right place. Okay. If you'd like to program yourself for massive financial abundance, I see lots of hands, and I love that. But the more questions I answer while I'm flowing, the longer it's going to take to get to the content. So Peter, I see you. I see a lot of other people in the chat. Type your questions in the chat. We'll go ahead and do our best to get those questions answered as quickly as possible. Okay. How many of you would like to be able to actually, what if you could like reach into the hearts and minds of the people you truly want to inspire and motivate, and just get them on board with you and wanting to do what you want them to do? Would that be helpful? How many of you would like to close more sales? Or how many people have ever been faced with a person who, in spite of all of your powerful NLP and covert hypnosis training, just looked at you and said, no? Right? How would you like to, what if there was a way for you to actually be able to turn that no into a yes and have it be their idea? Would that be something that you're interested in? Yes or yes? Okay. Cool. All right. Well, it seems like we're all on the same page, right? And everything starts with understanding the mind-body connection. Okay. So here's your first rule. Remember, nothing I'm teaching you, in order for this stuff to work for you, all you really have to do is do it. You don't have to believe it, but there are some foundations that we want you to build into your practice. We've taken a long time in Planet David to distill a lot of our technologies down to as pure a mechanical process as possible. What does that mean? You just step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. What you believe, your confidence level, not as much of a factor as some other forms or approaches to human influence. Because one of the things we know is that there are certain automatic processes that the human nervous system does. And if you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, you can push those buttons and people will do what you want. Now, along with that kind of power comes tremendous responsibility. We are the good Jedi, right? I'm going to teach you systematically how to reprogram your subconscious mind. And in that process, you're going to begin to unlock the magic that is inherent within your own nervous system. Peter, you says thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Peter. Peter's being very complimentary. I appreciate that. But we do have to understand some basic fundamentals. And here's the first one I want you to get. Okay. Everything that human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's a feeling they either want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. I'm going to repeat that 2 more times. If you're taking notes, which is you should be, right? There will be a replay, but it's helpful to have some notes. Now, there will be times when I'm going to want you to put your notes down because I want to guide you through an experience, because I believe that the best evidence for the success of something is a personal experience. If I could show you testimonial after testimonial after testimonial after testimonial after testimonial of the thousands and thousands of people who've used our technologies and changed their life. Or I could give you an experience yourself, and you can be one of those testimonials, if that makes any kind of sense. But you'll have that gnosis, that direct experience. And that's how we like to teach in Planet David. We want you to have as many incontrovertible experiences as possible. Okay. And so there will be times to take notes. There will be times to have active, full participation. In case you haven't figured it out yet, I'm not big on PowerPoints, and I'm a teacher who thrives on feedback. Now, I do have visual aids and PowerPoints and things like that. And if you want them, I'm happy to show them to you. And there will be times where I have to do it just for the sake of training. But I'm big on interaction. So the more feedback you're giving me when I ask you to do something, then type it in the chat. I want you to respond. I want you to let me know that you're with me through this entire phase. Okay. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. I'm going to say that 2 more times. Everything, ladies and gentlemen, from the most dyed-in-the-wool, repressed, left-brain scientist to the most emotive, method actor on the planet, and everybody in between, is making response, is generating behaviors and making decisions based on feelings. Now, the process they use to get to that feeling state, that can be different for everybody. But at the end of the day, every decision we make is in response to a feeling. And it's either one we want more of or one we want to get away from and want a whole lot less of. The thing, and how this relates to your subconscious mind is this. How many people here are familiar with the concept of manifestation, law of attraction, The Secret? Okay. I was kind of a freebie. I kind of knew 90% of you already knew what I was going to, familiar with that. But for those of you who don't, there is a particular part of your brain called the reticular activating system. That reticular activating system is designed to manage what you pay attention to. It's designed to modulate what you notice first in any environment or situation. The long and short of it is, it's the part of you that's in charge of making your external reality, what you project and perceive outside of you, match what's inside of you. And it is completely and totally, well, I shouldn't say totally. There's probably a tiny bit of visual input in there, but it's mostly a feeling-driven machine. Okay, the dominant feelings that you have will flip and tweak that reticular activating system so that you perceive the things around you in harmony with the body feelings that you have. Okay, by a show of hands, how many of you, or by a show of that's me in the chat, how many of you have ever been in an argument with somebody? Yay, that's me, right? How many of you have ever been in an argument with somebody? Perfect. Now, maybe this has happened to you. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe you'll suddenly remember times when this was true. You get into the argument with someone. You're arguing your point. They're arguing their point. And you go back and forth for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Finally, you settle the argument. At least you think you do. Because for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes, anything you say pisses them off again. Anybody ever have that experience? Yes or yes? Okay. What you're dealing with is a phenomena that Paul Ekman called the emotional refractory period. If you get Dr. Ekman's book, Lies Telling Lies, I think is what it's called, by Dr. Paul Ekman, you'll hear him discuss the emotional refractory period. What is that from a subconscious mind's perspective? It's your reticular activating system. You see, what happens is when you have, your body's always trying to maintain a state of homeostasis. It's trying to maintain a steady equilibrium state. And it will tend to fight or resist any significant change. But when that impetus to change overwhelms the homeostatic part, it resets what your new normal is. Okay, and all of a sudden your reticular activating system flips, and it starts looking for things in your environment that support the new normal or re-trigger the state. That's why when you've had an argument with somebody, you have this hair trigger for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes. You have this little half-life that you go through when you are calming down, right? It's easy to get re-triggered. This is also true. How many people here know people who are just naturally lucky? Anybody here know somebody who's just naturally lucky? Type it in the chat. Okay, cool. Now, how does this relate to what we're talking about? Many, many years ago, I was fascinated in my own studies of manifestation and how the mind works and stuff like that. I was fascinated by the concept of luck. I wanted to be lucky. I've always been pretty lucky, right? But I wanted to understand it. As a neurolinguistic programmer, we're always, at least the old school guys, the old school neurolinguistic programmers were like excellence pirates. Like when there was somebody that was super excellent at something, we wanted to be able to crawl inside their head, figure out what they're doing on these different levels, and create a model of it that would allow us to replicate that level of success in a shorter amount of time. So I got this idea that, well, what if I could model naturally lucky people? What if I could find people who were just extraordinarily serendipitous in their life? Like if they stepped in a pile of dog poop, when they went to clean their shoe off, they'd find a diamond ring stuck to the bottom of their shoe, right? People who, anytime anything went south, right, they came out better than they went in, right? So in part of my studies, I started going through Psychology Today and other different psychology manuals. I came across a study, and this is, again, directly relevant to where we're going today. They did a study of people who were naturally lucky, and they discovered something very interesting. They discovered that there are 5 psycho-emotional characteristics, traits or attributes that lucky people have in common. And that when these 5 traits have been stimulated, or at least are dominant, then these particular individuals would demonstrate a higher and higher and higher level of serendipitous events. In other words, they got lucky more often than the average human being, or even people who identified as being unlucky. The first characteristic, I'm not going to give all of them to you, right? But the first characteristic was they self-identified as being lucky. I'll repeat that 2 more times. They self-identified as being lucky. And then, and there was a few other traits that they used, but why is this one important? Because when we're talking about your subconscious mind and your reticular activating system, we're talking about 2 things. We're talking about your self-image and your values. Those are the 2 things. If we understand identity and we understand values, which are beliefs, so is identity, by the way, those are the 2 biggest transformers that impact our body and our reticular activating system. And it causes our unconscious mind to change our perceptions so that we find outside of us what we have programmed inside of us. So let me explain how that works for these lucky people. They would, the people running this particular study rented a restaurant. They did this in London, I believe it was, or England. And they put a 20-pound note on the floor. They filled the entire restaurant with actors to pretend to be patrons. They had 3 groups of test subjects. They had people who self-identified as being naturally lucky. They had people who self-identified as being average. They had people who self-identified as being unlucky. They placed a 20-pound note on the floor of the restaurant, and they sent the lucky people in one at a time, and they measured how many people found the 20-pound note on the floor and how quickly they did it. Okay, you follow me so far? How often they found it, how quickly they did it. Well, every one of them found it, and it was within seconds of walking into the place. Then they sent the average people in, and they did the same thing. And as you can expect, the average people got average results. As far as we know, the unlucky people are still trying to find the restaurant. Okay? What does this tell us? Something in people who are naturally lucky modifies their perception of the world and brings their mind to things that are in harmony with that lucky identity. So if we can begin to change our identity and the body feelings that go with it, our reticular activating system will flip, and all of a sudden our nervous system will start working for us, bringing things into our life that were always there, but were screened out because it didn't match the filters we had in place. So long story short, if I walk into a room and I'm feeling good, let's say I walk into a room, there are 10 data points. There are 10 things that I can pay attention to in that room. 8 of them are positive. 2 of them are negative. If I go into that room and my psycho-emotional state is positive, I will notice those 8 data points first. If I go into that same room, 8 positives, 2 negatives, and I'm in a negative state, I will notice the negative parts first. This is important when it comes to every aspect of your life, because if your internal system is feeling badly, your reticular activating system is going to look for the things in your environment that reinforce those bad or limiting feelings about yourself. Okay, and the inverse is also true. If I can prime my body to feel positive, to feel lucky, to feel optimistic, to feel confident, successful, worthy, deserving, then I will move through the world seeing points in my environment that reinforce and re-trigger that. The most powerful mediator short term of that change, that rapid transition of the reticular activating system, is your body feelings. Because every decision we make, every thought we think, every behavior we generate will change based on the emotional state that I have. So Peter's asking, how do I remove the negativity from my system? I'm glad you asked that, Peter. I'm going to show you how we do it big picture. We're going to drill down on using one. We've probably got 10 or 12 techniques that we use. I don't have time to give you 10 or 12 techniques, but I can give you one, and I can show you where to go for the rest of them. Right? Ryan says, I have every intention of meeting you as well, David. I just wanted to say thank you with everything. You're welcome, my friend. All right. So first rule, everything human beings do is in response to a feeling they want more of, or a feeling they want less, they want a whole lot less of. Now, if you stay to the end of tonight's webinar, based on that premise and a few other things, I'm going to teach you the most powerful, fastest, direct way to reprogram your mind and body for anything you want. Okay, I'm going to show you, like some of you were asking, how to put a dead stop halt to procrastination, limiting beliefs, remove blocks to your success, kind of get rid of negative emotions, fear, pain, whatever, right? Because it all starts here. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. The next piece to that is that every feeling that you generate, conscious or not, has a body location. There's a place in or around your body where those feelings come together and then are expressed into your conscious awareness. And if you can isolate that point on your body, it's literally like the USB plug that you can plug into the system and start rewriting the program. So everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. If you can point to where you feel it, you can access it. If you can point to where you access it, you can change it. We say that 2 more times. If you can point to where you feel it, you can access it. If you can access it, you can change it. If you can point to where you feel it, you can access it. If you can access it, you can change it. Okay. You guys with me so far? Is this useful? Is this helpful? You don't need 30 years of education in psychology. You don't need to study hundreds of books. There's just a few simple principles that if you just embrace them and you start applying them, you will prove this to yourself in a very, very short amount of time. Okay. So let me just look at my notes here. So regardless of what you want to reprogram your subconscious mind to do, there are 2 elements that will determine the quality of the results that you get. A, your belief system. What do you believe? Right? What are your beliefs in terms of your spiritual mission? If you are your purpose in life? Who do you believe you are, and what is the identity that you move through the world at? What are your values? What are your rules for what constitutes the best everything and the worst everything? And how do you know when you're satisfying those? What are your capabilities in a certain context or environment? What are your behaviors? What kind of behaviors are you engaging in? And finally, in what environments are you allowed to do these things? We call this the hierarchy, or the hierarchy of logical beliefs, right? Now, what's fascinating about that particular model is that regardless, the beliefs at the top control the beliefs at the bottom. This is probably a good time for me to go to PowerPoints, right? So give me just a minute. I'm actually not going to PowerPoints. I'm going to OneNote. We're going to do this in a newfangled way. All right. So let me go ahead and make this a little bigger. There we go. Okay. So this was that little pyramid I was just telling you guys about. But here's the thing I want you to understand. And this is why at the beginning of the webinar, I was talking about if politically incorrect language, colorful metaphors, swearing, or the word boobies offends you, not the best use of your time. Why? Because there are you have 2, in spite of the fact that you have these 6 different levels of belief, you can divide this into 2 basic categories. Beliefs you know about and beliefs you don't. The beliefs we know about are easy to change because we can find them. But the beliefs we don't know we have, they're the ones that screw us up more often than not. Now, the way you find the beliefs you don't know about requires you to do something that most people don't like. And that is this. They have to be provoked. In other words, you'll never know these beliefs are there until you try to do something that triggers them or they're blocking. Okay. So a lot of times I'll say things that on the surface seem a little more than politically incorrect, and they're designed to provoke you, right? Plus it's the way I express myself. So you're just going to have to deal with it. So you have two kinds of beliefs you know about and beliefs you don't. The beliefs you know about are easy. The beliefs you don't know about, you can't fix them until you find them. I'm going to show you how to find them. But you notice that right here on level 2 of our little level 2 of our pyramid is identity, right? And that's factor number 1. What is your self-concept? What is your life experience, right? What are your belief systems that are in place? Okay. Now, regardless of what level, the transpersonal, the identity level, the belief, the values level, the capabilities level, the behavior level, the environment, regardless of what level belief this is, they're all built the same way. They're built from the same stuff, and we can change it all using your own the secret code of your autonomic nervous system to change that. But we have to get our identity straight. We have to create an identity for ourselves. Hold on a second, why? I'm getting a little messy here. We have to create an identity for ourselves that supports the person we want to become, right? And that's what the identity by design system, which is where I'm pulling some of this information from, is designed to do. It's designed to help you systematically sort through the building blocks of your behavior, personality, and temperament, and start to reconfigure those into something you want to be more of instead of what random societal influences programmed you to be, right? So identity is the first one. The second one that you guys gotta embrace, and this is the one that triggers people a lot, is you've got to take actions. If you want a different result, you have to take a different action, right? A lot of our alchemical and internal work involves altered states of consciousness. I'm going to be putting you in and out of trance throughout this entire webinar. You won't know it sometimes, but you'll feel the results anyway, right? So there's two things people need to understand is regardless of what changes you make up here, if you don't combine them with factor 2, which is actually taking actions in the physical world, then you're just deluding yourself. So can we agree that from this point on, we're going to cultivate an identity that deserves to have the things we want to have, and then we're going to act on it? Can we agree to that? Okay, because I'm going to ask you to take action on some things later, and your willingness to do that is going to determine the results that you get. I'll be very upfront, if at the risk of sounding a little arrogant. I'm very, very good at what I do. I'm very, very good at helping people change, but it's a collaborative process. I can't multiply a 0. If you do nothing, I can't help you. But if you make the decision to become the person you truly want to be, and then you take the appropriate actions, then you will become the person who deserves to have that change. Peter says, I'm ready, I just need guidance. Okay, you're in the right place, right? But I needed to get, this is something that a lot of people, this triggers some people because they want the quick and easy. And so do I. I joke with my face reading students that I am pathologically impatient, right? But at the end of the day, you have to get off your butt and you have to do something different, or you're going to keep getting the same result. Now, if you get off your butt and you do stuff, but you haven't changed this, or you're not on the path to changing this, then you're going to wind up repeating the same patterns that you've been doing, which is going to demotivate you. Right? So it's a 1-2 punch. We got to work with the identity level, the beliefs, the values, the capabilities, the patterns that we've been running from. And we've got to combine that with the appropriate actions. I'm going to show you what to do and how to do it. But at the end of the day, you got to decide you deserve to have it. Okay. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump out of the PowerPoint really quick. And at the risk of maybe slowing us down, I'm going to ask you if you have any questions before I move on to the next piece of this. Go ahead and ask your questions now. Just type them in the chat and I'll answer as many as I can, as long as they're not taking me in a different direction. 42. All right, there's some Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fans out there. My students are pissed. They need to get off their butts. Okay. All right, I'm not seeing. All right, you guys with me? So should I just keep going then? All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is how do we begin to figure out beliefs we know about and beliefs we don't. The way that we do that is through dialogue and questioning of our own autonomic nervous system. So when we talk about the nervous system, you're going to hear me use different variations for the term nervous system. I believe that the most powerful part of our being in the physical body is the autonomic nervous system. And I've spent a lot of my time reverse engineering how the autonomic nervous system translates thoughts, ideas, concepts, external experience into subjective experience, how it creates our own internal world. And NLP was a big tool, a big part of that discovery process. So one of the things we need to understand is that your autonomic nervous system functions like a prism. We have white light coming in, and on the other side you get, red, orange, yellow, green. You guys know how a prism works, right? Well, we have an experience. It comes through the aperture of our neurology. It's broken up into different types of information, and then it's reconstructed. So you go from a primary external experience to a primary internal representation, right? A recording, if you will, of what happened to us. I've told my students, and you may have heard me say this on other videos, you are not the way you are because of the things that happened to you. You are not the way you are because of the things that happened to you. You are the way you are because of the way you recorded the things that happened to you and the way you've been relating to those recordings. I'm going to say that 2 more times. You are the way you are because of the way you recorded the things that happened to you and how you have been relating to those recordings. Last time for the repetition. You are not the way you are because of what happened to you. You are the way you are because of how you recorded what happened to you and how you've been relating to those recordings. What we're going to talk about next is how did you record it and where did you store it? How did you record it? Where did you restore it? And what do you want instead? Read that 3 more times. What did you record? Or how did you record it? Where did you store it? What do you want instead? Okay. To do this, we're going to talk about, to do this effectively, we have to learn to talk to our autonomic nervous system. We have to learn how to ask it questions, pay attention to the response, and know that we can trust the information. How many of you have ever found yourself the victim of wishful thinking? Anybody? Where you wanted something to be true so emotionally bad that you made it true in your mind, and then it turned out not true, right? Okay, so how can we make this communication cleaner? How can we, as a human being, operating from our conscious mind awareness, talk to our autonomic nervous system, receive the information, and trust the information that we're getting? Well, turns out it's actually quite simple if you know 6 things. There's only 6 things you need to know, and you can ask your body just about anything you want. It will give you the best possible answer. And if you have the tools, you can go in and change anything you want into just about anything you want. Does that sound cool? Does that sound useful? All right. So here we go. I don't think I've ever taught all of these on a webinar, but this is something, if you take nothing, how many therapists do we have? How many therapists do we have on the call tonight? Any coaches, hypnotists? Okay. Here's the deal, guys. If you take these things and these 6 things I'm about to teach you into your treatment room, 90% of the resistance you get from all of your clients will go out the window just from this, if you do it properly and in the right order. Okay, so what we're going to talk about are called the 6 dynamics of an unconscious response. In other words, if I'm going to talk from my conscious mind to my unconscious mind, how can I trust that information? The reason I'm bringing this up is because this is the biggest thing that holds us back. You see, you don't understand the dynamics of one layer of your brain to the other. The reptile brain, the brain stem, is the most primal, primitive part of you. It's a visual kinesthetic system. In other words, it sees and it feels. Everything else is in the direction of satisfying primal drives, survival and replication. Okay? The older the part of you, the more power it has. As each piece evolved, it had a little bit more capability, but a little less autonomy compared to the reptile brain. Okay, so the limbic system, which is your animal brain, that's the emotional brain, right? As my friend Chase Hughes likes to say, it's your dog brain, right? That's where dog evolution stopped. The next brain, which is called the neocortex, that's your rational lying brain. Neocortex literally means new layer. It's the youngest part of you, but it's the part that thinks in words. It's the part that creates stories to justify why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Now, here's where the rubber hits the road. Let me say that again. The neocortex is the part of you that creates the story to justify the way you're feeling and the way you're behaving as a result of those feelings. Let me say that 2 more times. The neocortex is the part of you that creates the story that justifies how you're feeling and how you're behaving as a result of those feelings. Why is that important? Because it's a liar. Let me say that again. Your neocortex is a liar. In my world, we call it the rational lying brain. Now, we're not trying to vilify that part of us. I don't vilify any part of the autonomic the nervous system. They all serve a valuable function. The problem is, just like any 2-year-old, it tries to do things outside of its scope. The neocortex, the rationalization faculty of the human brain, evolved for us to survive in cultures, in groups, in people, so we could justify our behaviors without being killed or excommunicated by the group. So that little mechanism, that neocortex, anytime information comes up to it from the deep unconscious, from the brainstem, from the body, from the paleocortex, the mammalian brain, the moment that information hits the neocortex, it starts building a story around the feelings. That story that it creates may have absolutely nothing to do with what's true at the deep unconscious level. You understand that? When the information comes up from your unconscious mind, your limbic system wraps some information around it, and then it feeds it up to the neocortex, and it wraps this whole story around that. And that's what you're responding to. The story. In classical hypnosis, in NLP, most psychology systems, they have a concept known as the presenting problem. How many of you have ever heard the term presenting problem? Okay. Presenting problem means this is what they came to this is the reason they came to your office. This is what they think they're here to fix. 9 times out of 10, it's wrong. 9 times out of 10, when you open the hood and you go directly to the unconscious mind and you ask it, take us back to the very first scene, situation, or event that is the source, the beginning, the root cause of this problem, where you end up is radically different from the person's narrative when they came into your clinic. This happens so prevalently that we just disregard 90% of what a person says they think the problem is. Because if what they thought was the problem was actually the problem, wouldn't you have fixed it by now? If you could think your way through that issue, would it still be an issue? Right? Because the problem you have isn't rational. It's emotional. It's physical. It's not rational. Irrational problems require irrational solutions. Okay, so There's weird stuff going. There's weird pop-ups on my screen. Are you guys with me, or am I talking like too high, too fast? Tell me that you're with me, right? And what your takeaways are from this so far. Okay, excellent. Okay, so here's how it works. There are 6 characteristics that you, as an alchemist is anybody who's going to do change work on themselves, whether you're doing that for another human being and yourself, or just for yourself. There are 6 characteristics, 6 data points that you need to pay attention to be able to trust the information coming from your unconscious mind. Now, let me be very clear. This is so you can trust the information coming up from your unconscious mind. We're not at the point where we can actually do something to that information yet, but we have to have these 6 dynamics to begin the process. So as by way of a very quick review, everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's a feeling they either want more of or a whole lot less of. You need 2 ingredients for success: action and identity. If you can point to where you feel it, you can access it. If you can access it, you can change it. Okay? 6 dynamics. The unconscious mind. I'm going to go to PowerPoint on this one. Where are you? Share. Okay. Can we see this okay? The unconscious mind, your autonomic nervous system, always answers first, usually non-verbally. I'm going to say that 2 more times. Your unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud. And it's damn skippy, it's almost never linear. Okay? So I'm going to repeat the whole thing 3 more times. I'm going to talk a little bit about each data point, and then we're going to start working on what we want to change or how we want to change it. Okay? The unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. Never loud, never linear. One of the things NLP taught me about the nature of the unconscious mind is that it's very, very structure driven. It's very, very structure driven. And if you understand the structure of a subjective experience, in other words, how did you build that memory? How did you build that belief system? How did you build that fear? How did you build that desire that you have? How do you do that inside of your mind and brain? How did you build it? This is the most important piece. We call this, this is the one that screws people up. Well, almost as they all screw people up, but this one is the one that we need to pay attention to first. Whatever pops up first in your mind is the right answer. Okay. If I ask you, when you think about your fear of flying, what's how young might you be when you first feel a feeling like that? And the first word that pops up into your head is 7, but you didn't start being afraid of flying until you were 35. You're going to go into cognitive dissonance and go, what? That can't be right. It's right. Your unconscious mind will always answer you first, and it will always answer you honestly. Now, I have to make a distinction here. Honestly is not factual. Why? Because your unconscious mind doesn't give a shit about the facts. Your unconscious mind only cares about what it believes is true. Okay? And because it focuses on what it believes is true, when it answers, that is your unconscious mind's truth, and that is what you have to work with. You can't bludgeon them with the facts. That is a rational mind response. It is a rhetorical argument. It will not work with the unconscious mind without a tremendous amount of pressure and repetition. Okay? So the unconscious mind will always answer you first. It will always answer you honestly. It's always going to feel like you're making it up. This is the one that screws most classically trained hypnotists up because most classically trained hypnotists are not taught anything about this stuff, at least not the way I'm teaching it to you. And so what happens is, let me jump out of this really quick. Hold on a second. I can't find my button. Why is this important? Because in most classically trained hypnosis, you're going to spend 30 to 90 minutes giving them a hypnosis pre-talk, a talk that's supposed to eliminate all the myths and misconceptions about hypnosis. The problem is that 9 times out of 10, that talk also primes them with fears and beliefs that they didn't have coming in. And so it actually sometimes works against you. However, what happens a lot of times in classical hypnosis is person will go into the treatment, they'll go through the pre-talk, they'll go through the entire session, and they'll come out and they'll say, oh, no, I don't think I was hypnotized. I thought I was just making it all up. Right? Now, a good, well-trained hypnotist will say, no, that's how your unconscious mind works. The problem is when you told them. Because if you tell people this is for the therapists out there. If you tell people this after they've come out of hypnosis, it sounds like you're trying to defend what you were doing. But if you tell it to them before you put them into the trance process, when they encounter any of these 6 criteria, it's going to strengthen, reinforce, and give them more confidence in the process. Okay? Remember, your 90% of your people coming into your treatment room have a head full of bad ideas and expectations of what hypnosis, NLP, and all these mind-related disciplines is supposed to be like. And if you don't control that narrative, their rational lying brain will spin a story. And as much as we want to put that part on a shelf and make it go away for the time we're working, every now and then it creeps back in. So the idea is you have to steer that internal dialogue and conversation. You have to let the person know right up front, your unconscious mind, when information comes up, the first thing that pops up is always the right thing, regardless of how nonlinear, irrational, illogical, nonsensical the answer might be. You say to somebody, go back to the very first scene, situation, or event that is the source, the beginning, the root cause of your fear of bees. And they say purple. And you're like, what? Purple is the answer. Purple is the most direct line to the initial sensitizing event, because the unconscious mind, the autonomic nervous system, doesn't track events linearly. It gives us the illusion of linearity, but it's not actually linear. Okay? Your memories are all reconstructed. Your neurology organizes your thoughts and your memories based on what they have in common. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're all connected by something where they overlap. So when you ask the unconscious mind, the autonomic nervous system, to give you that information, that's how it gives it to you. So the order and sequence that the information comes up is the most important piece. Okay? If you want to be able to trust your unconscious and the information it gives you, the unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. Whatever comes up. Well, the first situation or event, when you first discovered you were afraid of bees, or when you first had that fear of bees, purple. Okay, follow that purple all the way back to it. Boom. Whatever they give you, that's what you go with. When you're starting to dialogue with your own system, whatever comes up, go with it. Why? Because it's going to feel like you're making it up. That's the part. Always answers first, always answers honestly, always feels like you're making it up. Now, why is that? Because it's the part of you that makes things up. The part of you that controls your heartbeat, your hormonal balance, your endocrine system, when you go to sleep, when you wake up, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, is also the part that makes things up. So they have a similar feel. Okay? We'll talk more about the feeling aspect of it a little later when we start talking about the beliefs we know about and the beliefs we don't, and how we provoke them. Okay? You're always going to have an urge to edit what just came up. Be very mindful of any time in your process when you're going, oh, that can't be right. Oh, that's not it. What I meant was, how many times you caught yourself doing this? Right? The moment The moment you catch yourself doing that, you go with the first thing that came up and you forget any analysis whatsoever. This is not about analysis. It's about order and sequence. Okay. Peter's asking, what if your conscious mind confuses you in that process and you don't know what comes up? Pretend you do know. Pretending is one of the fastest hacks on the planet. Okay. When in doubt, pretend it out, right? Or ask a different question and then pay attention to the answer. You're welcome, Peter. Okay. You're going to find with a lot of this stuff, anytime you hit some kind of block, just pretending you have the answer will get you the answer. And I could explain why that is, but you don't need to know that. You just need to do it. Okay. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. Guys, if there's the things I just gave you, the first 4, if you can nail those, you're on the fast track. But don't believe me. Do not believe what I'm saying. Test it. I'm going to give you an opportunity to test it very shortly. Okay. Susie says, can you do this with your children? 150%. I used to do it with my 5-year-old. All right, last 2. It's never loud, never linear. So a lot of times when you get that little subtle, small voice in the back of your head, it won't be loud. It'll be like a whim or a notion in the back of your mind, right? Now here's another, to use a phrase, mind fuck. This is where it gets weird. The reason that there's an old saying that the conscious mind shouts, the subconscious mind whispers. The reason that when information comes up from the unconscious mind, besides the fact that it feels like you're making it up, it's quiet, it's soft, it's like a whim or a notion. It has a far off, distant quality, almost like a whisper. The reason it has that quality to it is not because it's weak. It's because it's deep. It's deep inside the neurology. It's deep inside the layers of the mind and body, encoded at a very deep level. And so you're hearing that very faint echo welling up from wherever in the body that information is stored. How many of you here are familiar with the book, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk? If you're not, you should get it. Okay. So it's almost never loud. It's like a quiet, like a whim or a notion in the back of your mind. And that's what we need to pay attention to. Okay. Finally, the information you get, with very few exceptions, Frank, the name was Bessel van der Kolk. Vanderkolk. Okay. Body keeps the score. Sorry, I'm getting all kinds of crazy prompts and pop-ups on my desktop now. I think somebody's trying to do weird stuff to me. Anyway, hold on a second. It's bothering me. Anyway, all right. Questions on this so far, guys? Believe me or don't believe me. Test me. Test me. When you start doing your personal work, whatever that is, use these 6 dynamics and see if you don't get a faster result better. Okay. Hold on a second. There's this weird pop-up covering one of my chats and I can't get it to move. All right. All right. So last one, never linear. I talked about this a little bit. Your unconscious mind, your autonomic nervous system doesn't group things linearly. It gives you the illusion of linear time. When you have a memory, a request goes to the system finds the relevant files and it reconstructs that memory for you. But as it's reconstructing that memory, there are attachments to other memories that have something similar in common. If you ever look at the way nerve circuits overlap each other and then branch off in different directions, that's how this works on a meat level, because your brain is very, very efficient, right? And so a lot of times that's why sometimes when you go for a specific memory, all of a sudden 2 or 3 other memories will come up simultaneously because of those overlapping connections. right? When that happens, we still pay attention to the first thing that came up. If something's simultaneous, pick one. Just pretend and pick. You'll get them all anyway, right? But you start with whatever comes up first in your awareness. Okay. Questions on that? All right. So let's talk about where does this stuff actually come from and why should I care? So in the actual identity by design silo, you've got 7 basic layers. Now, we don't have time to go through every single layer in today's class, okay? But the basic identity by design silo starts with clearing out the negativity you didn't know you had, moving on into removing the negativity and the limiting beliefs that have special reasons for holding on to them. In classical hypnosis therapy, we would call this secondary gain. We call them safety lessons, right? If you've ever dated the same person with a different face, or had the same relationships in different jobs, what you're dealing with is a recurring pattern that almost always has a safety lesson connected to it. We'll show you how to systematically remove them. In fact, we're probably going to do something like that today. Then we go into removing the default driver states. Most people are moving through the world neutral to negative at any given moment. So just like we talked about with the lucky people with the reticular activating system, if I can reset the default state you're moving through the world into one of being playful and curious and relentless and victorious, your reticular activating system is going to recalibrate and start looking for situations, certain events, and evidence in your external environment that reinforces and supports that new identity. So stage 3 of the identity by design process is installing into you the driver states of playful, curious, relentless, victorious, and they're always on. And then it'll give you a little trigger that you can just amplify those and turn up the volume on them anytime you need to. From there, we go into changing your internal dialogue. That little voice in your head, you know, the voice that's always talking crap. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's that little voice in your head that just said what voice, right? You may have seen the voice of authority videos we've put on our YouTube channel. This is how we reprogram that internal voice so that it reminds you of all the best things about you. It instead of tearing you down, it builds you up, it inspires you, it motivates you, it guides you, it protects you. Then we systematically remove all the negativity from your past. We literally blank the hard drive. We move all of your positive memories to one side, your negative memories to the other side. We drain all the energy out of the negative memories and put them into your positive memories. And then we reinstall them into your, what NLP calls your timeline or your time filter, so that when you look back on the past, you only remember it in ways that make your life better and empower you to move forward. It's super powerful. Then what we do is we take all of this and we install it before your very first memory, before you were first conscious, or before you first had a conscious mind, or even a rudimentary unconscious mind. We install those entire 5 or 6 processes at the DNA level. If you've ever heard of epigenetics and Bruce Lipton, we will show you, using very powerful trance processes, we'll install these new templates and these new mechanisms in your DNA level so that they are always operational. So as you move through the world, your brain is automatically utilizing these processes to clear up stuff as it comes up. Okay. Now what we do is we take the traits, qualities, and characteristics of people who you admire, and we teach you to install them like a template in your autonomic nervous system, so that you can actually layer on top of the newly refined and improved version of yourself all the things you want to be better at. Right? It's called deep trance identification. In other circles, it might be known as the Rykov effect, or some people might know it as the alter ego effect. This is a very powerful process, and you can see it. If you go to my YouTube channel and type in Captain Jack the Hypnotist, you will see me actually doing this magic circle process in the guise of one of my alters that I created using this process. Right? So this is what we call the identity by design silo. It's part of our real world hypnotherapy certification track. Now, obviously, I can't go through every single one of these in the time that we have, but none of this works unless you have this, unless you have the 6 dynamics of an unconscious response. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this and questions on that stuff? Is this helpful? Is this useful? Okay. So in the interest of keeping my promise, would it be okay for me to share with you the program and the systems and the opportunities for learning the entire program that we've put together for you? Would that be okay? And then we'll circle back to part 3 and we'll start clearing some shit. Would that be good? All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the Mastering Your Mind, Reality Reprogramming, and Personal Transformation for Healing, Influence, and Success Home Study course. This is a set of programs that I've done as live events that I've put together in a very synergistic and powerful way to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to reprogram your subconscious mind for health, wealth, success, and happiness, and truly master your own system. And then if you want to, you'll have the ability to go out and actually make a living doing this work for people. It'll give you all the tools that you need to actually start coaching and helping other people to utilize these tools for the life they want, right? So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so I can see it, right? So the Master Your Mind program is all about taking your life to the next level first. I think that hypnotists, coaches, mentors should lead by example. I truly believe that if you're not living a life that other people would like to have, maybe you should focus on manifesting that for yourself first so you become the example of the technologies that you teach. Now, I understand everybody starts at these things at different places, but however, wherever we're at, we can start becoming our best self at whatever level that is. This is all about manifesting wealth and abundance, aligning your mind with prosperity consciousness, attracting financial success effortlessly, removing the blocks to your financial success, and taking the appropriate actions that you don't even know you have. We're going to cover it. We're going to actually show you how to do that in part 3 of the webinar. You have 2 types of beliefs: beliefs you know about, beliefs you don't. The most insidious ones I see are in the realm of money. There are beliefs we have about money that we don't even know we have. And if we could just get rid of, if we could just find them, we could fix them, right? So that's one of the most important things you're going to take away from tonight's webinar: how to find this shit. I'm going to teach you how to master persuasion and influence. I'm going to show you in very simple, direct, mechanical, ethical, and honestly, loving ways to get people to say yes to you pretty much all the time you want, minimize resistance, and always be on the side of the angels. You'll never have to look over your shoulder. You'll never have to worry about, you can only see the top of my head. Can everybody else see the screen? Okay. I may have to stand off to the side so you can see all this. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you the most powerful and ethical way to get everybody to say yes to you. Would that be useful? How about if I could show you an ethical way to get people to honestly say yes to the things they just looked you in the eye and told you they didn't want to do, and have them be telling the truth? We're going to show you how to do that. It's amazingly cool, right? It's called the resistance removal formula. We're going to teach you how to transform your relationships. You're going to learn how to build deep emotional connections, improve your communication, attract the right people at the right time. One of the biggest things we learned when we were teaching Soulmate Secrets is that so many of the people we attract into our primary relationships are based on templates locked at the unconscious level. And we think we know what we want. We think we know we'll recognize it when it's in front of us. But the truth is, if that reticular activating system hasn't been tuned up, you won't recognize Mr. or Mrs. Right. You'll just recognize what you've always got and think it's Mr. or Mrs. Right. So we need to go in and we need to change those settings on your reticular activating system. But then we also need you to externalize that value list and the attributes of the person who satisfies those values, so that you have a very clear way to measure what you're attracting. Okay, we'll show you how to do some of that stuff. We're going to teach you how to have unstoppable confidence and charisma. Here's the interesting thing about confidence. 9 times out of 10, when I talk to somebody about becoming more confident, what they're really trying to say is, I want to stop being afraid. I want to be comfortable in my own skin. Ladies and gentlemen, when you actually embody that, when you are comfortable in your own skin, your natural level of charisma automatically goes up. You start radiating power, magnetism, authority everywhere you go, because human nervous systems love certainty. And certain people are always comfortable, right? And so we'll show you how to build that. But 9 times out of 10, it's not the confidence you need. It's the comfort. It's the release of the fear that you've been holding on to. And when that happens, you automatically become comfortable. You automatically take the actions, and the confidence comes as a byproduct of taking the actions. Anybody who's told you that you need to be confident before you can start is trying to sell you something. Okay? The truth of the matter is, there have been far more times in your life where you had to get something done that you didn't have the confidence to do, but it had to be done. So you put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants, you did the work, and you got it. You nailed it. Boom. You came out on the other side and you won. Think about it for a moment. When did the confidence come? Not the relentlessness, not the determination. When did the confidence come? It usually comes after the fact. Exactly, Shane. So if you're waiting to be confident, if you're waiting for the right time to do something, you're going to be waiting a long time. Okay? Now, take what I believe what I say or don't. It's your life. If you like the results you've been getting in your life up to now, keep doing what you're doing. But if your belief system is not giving you the lifestyle that you want, maybe it's time to try something else. Okay? It won't be comfortable at first. It'll be different. Anything different feels uncomfortable at first until you're used to it. Then it'll just become what you do. Okay? We're going to teach you how to break free from fear and procrastination. We're going to program your mind to take massive action and achieve your biggest goals fast. I'm all about fast in Planet David. Okay? I make the joke, I stole it from, I think, the Army Corps of Engineers. Difficult is easy, impossible just takes a little longer. And I really believe that. I've seen some amazingly miraculous things happen with our students following these technologies. We're going to teach you finally how to create rapid, lasting transformation and how to use powerful subconscious reprogramming to truly become the person you were meant to be. And when I say meant to be, what I mean by that is the person you want to be, the person who's happy and fulfilled and living their best life. I want to help you fast track that golden path in the most user-friendly way possible. Okay? So everything I'm about to share with you is a special program. It's good until April 29th, 2025. That's tonight at 11:59 p.m. So let's look at what we're doing. You're going to get the Master Your Mind training program. It includes 14 videos that includes full training on the 7-step identity by design process. It's going to teach you how to systematically clear all the unconsciously held negative emotions and beliefs that you didn't even know you had in one big batch. It's a $297 value. We're going to show you step by step how to remove the blocks and limitations that have rules attached to them that say you can't let this go until this happens. We're going to show you how to fix that. In fact, we'll probably show you how to do that one tonight. $297 value. We're going to teach you how to remove the negative voices in your head that hold you back. The voice that says, oh, you don't deserve that. It's too much work. It's too hard. You'll never amount to anything. Any of those voices, any voice in your head that's ever talked shit to you and kept you from doing something you knew you wanted to do, we're going to show you in no uncertain terms how to change it and keep it changed. Okay? We're going to install inside of you the 4 pillars of personal power and success, the 4 default driver states that I have discovered. I'm sure there's more, but these are the ones that we keep coming back to over and over and over again, that reorient your reticular activating system, that turn you into a serendipity magnet, that allow you to move through the world experiencing more joy, more playfulness, more curiosity, more victory. You'll have these on tap anytime, anywhere. It's a $297 value. Then we're going to teach you once again how to systematically sanitize and remove and drain all the energy out of your past negativity. We're going to take that energy and recycle it. We're going to move it into all your positive energy memories and then put those memories back into your time filter so that when you look back on the past, you'll only remember it in these big, bright, empowering images that give you all the reason to go forward. It's really powerful. Okay. We're going to teach you how to install the traits, qualities, and characteristics. Well, actually, we're going to teach you how to take those 4 processes, compress them, and install them at your genetic memory level using epigenetic and deep trance identification, as well as transpersonal hypnotherapy. We're going to teach you how to take the qualities, characteristics of people who you truly admire. Let's say you want my ability to do language patterns, and you want Richard Bandler's ability to do pattern interrupts, and maybe you want who's somebody else that's really famous in the hypnosis or therapy world. Maybe you want to be like Milton Erickson and be able to just look at people and put them into trance, right? Maybe you want those qualities. Maybe you want something completely different. Maybe you want to be Wolverine, right? Maybe you want to be the Hulk. Maybe you want to be the next Julius Erving or whatever it is. We'll show you the process by which you can take these avatars who exhibit high levels of performance and skill or qualities that you admire and overlay them on the new version of yourself that you're creating and have them actually become active and functional in your life. Okay, we call it the magic circle. This process has been around for a very long time. It's just not talked about outside of certain circles. Okay, we're going to give you a full and complete manual that gives you all the theories and approaches you need. We'll talk about the 6 dynamics of the unconscious response. We'll talk about somatic search engine and why you need to be able to dialogue with the meat to get the best response. We're going to teach you about color breathing and resolution frequency generator, which is the most powerful engine of transformation. We'll talk about energy spinning, and which is really the technique that started it all. It's all in this course and so much more. We'll talk about instant and rapid inductions. You'll actually learn instant and rapid inductions if that's something that you want to do. All this is a $2,497 value, but we're not done. If you grab your course today, and we'll show you how to do that, we're going to include the following special bonuses. So we're also going to include one of our most powerful manifestation training programs. This is the Hidden Laws of Attraction Ultimate Manifestation Mastery Home Study Course. This is a program that will teach you how to unlock the power of your subconscious mind to quickly and easily manifest anything you desire. You're going to learn how to find and remove blocks to health, wealth, success, and happiness you didn't know you had. You're going to become a money magnet. We're going to teach you how to change and reorient your relationship with wealth, prosperity, and abundance to become somebody who knows how to move through the world, generating more wealth. We're going to influence people, how to influence people remotely, how to find and remove hidden negativities you didn't even know you had, things that are blocking your manifestation. I got to warn you, there's a reason why we're bundling this with the Master Your Mind program. One of the most triggering classes I ever took was a class on manifesting, because as one of my mentors, Taylor Sinclair, used to say, you can be or do or have anything in this world that you want, as long as you're willing to become the person for whom that thing can happen to. Manifestation works that way. If you have certain beliefs and certain identity structures in your neurological, in your autonomic nervous system, your subconscious mind, that says you don't deserve something, if you insist on trying to manifest those things, what the universe will tend to do first is it will throw all kinds of crap your way, because in order to become the person who can have that, you have to change. So there's 2 ways that you can change. You can change voluntarily, or you can change involuntarily. If you have the Master Your Mind program, you have the tools to voluntarily change. Once you have that, now you have the ability to pull things into your reality, to manifest things faster and easier, because you're not in your own way anymore. Okay, we'll teach you how to clear up issues that just don't seem to go away, or go away and come back. We'll teach you a powerful new way to give yourself affirmations that actually tap into the body's hidden resources to manifest things at a very powerful, faster level. And as a byproduct of that, your reticular activating system will flip on its ear, and you'll become that person in a very, very short amount of time, compared to classical types of affirmations. It's all based on how the brain actually processes language and creates your reality, rather than just written sentences of something you might want to have. Okay, there's a little bit more structure and science behind the information process than in a quality affirmation. It will shortcut your results to get your results faster than probably anything you've ever experienced. We're going to teach you how to delete the negativity and vibrational influences from your past, and using the identity by design process will give you all of the luck traits, and you can use the identity by design Master Your Mind process to install all of those lucky traits into yourself or your clients so that they can move through the world just generating luck everywhere they go without having to think about it. That's the beauty of it. There's a very distinct, when it comes to, I've done a lot of training on manifestation. There's two types of manifestation. There is deliberate intentional manifestation, and there's generic manifestation. People who just go through the world and lucky stuff happens, they're not thinking about making something happen. They're just being who they are, and the system's operating on autopilot, pulling all these amazing things into their life. Then there's deliberate manifestation. I want a six-figure business. I'm going to cycle. I'm going to do affirmations. I'm going to do a vision board. That's intentional linear manifestation. We're teaching you how to do both. Okay, we'll teach you how to do both by becoming the person who can generate these luck fields around them, but also through a process on your screen there called image cycling. Image cycling is how you can literally begin to program reality to bring you whatever you want, even if it's patently, some people might consider them impossible. I don't think they're impossible. That's my opinion. Your results may vary. But I've used that image cycling process to literally pull in some of the most impossible things you can think of. If you want to hear me talking about that, I don't want to take too much of your time here, but if you go to my YouTube channel and you type in funny law of attraction stories, right? You type in funny law of attraction stories, you'll hear me talking for 45 minutes about the crazy stuff that's manifested as a byproduct of this training, okay? And a lot more. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of meat to this, but we're not done yet. Total value on this is $19.97. If you combine that with the $24.97, it's like 44 and change, I think, is the total combined value, right? But there's more, okay? If you act now, if you click the link when it becomes available, we're going to include these actual special bonuses absolutely free, okay? We're going to give you the actual Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study course. This is a great expansion on the Master Your Mind training for people who specifically want to work with other people. Master Your Mind is really about you. It's about helping you to do these things on yourself, by yourself. This training is about taking all the things you learned in Master Your Mind and transmitting them or translating them into a client-based business. Okay? How to hypnotize people anytime, anywhere, under any circumstance. When people go through this training, they come in knowing nothing and they come out literally unstoppable. They're able to hypnotize people at the drop of a hat in any situation or circumstance. I get emails and programs all the time saying, I can't believe it's actually this easy. Right? We had that happen just the other day, where they came in to the Identity by Design training. We taught them instant and rapid inductions, and they thought, just like any seminar, that's always easier in the seminar room. Then they went out and started seeing clients and were amazed to see that it was actually easier to do the clients than it was to do the people in the seminar room. And the seminar room was easy, right? It's not about the information. It's about the way the information is taught. And that's something I have to emphasize. It's not just the information that we teach you here in Planet David. It's the way we teach it to you, right? Because I'm not interested, and this is actually why I leave a lot of money on the table when I talk. I'm not interested in teaching you about something. I'm interested in teaching you how to do something. And there's a lot more people out there who want to know about things than who want to actually do them. My emphasis has always been on the doers of the world, the people who are going to go out into the world and make things happen. And I like to believe that's you, right? I'm sure I'll put out books eventually that will teach people about things that we do. But my heart is always in helping you to actually do these things, okay? So we're going to teach you in this hypnotherapy home study course how to unlock the powers of your unconscious mind and your client's unconscious mind. You'll be able to hypnotize people anytime, anywhere. You'll be able to remove limiting beliefs, physical, mental, and emotional pain, fears and phobias, find and remove hidden negativity that they didn't even know they had, clear up issues that just don't seem to go away, change their crappy voice so that it builds them up instead of tears them down, resolve the negativity from their past, install traits, qualities, and characteristics that they want, instant and rapid inductions, the 90% close consultation that we teach all of our fledgling hypnotists, so that 9 out of 10 people who come in for a consultation wind up becoming your clients. Really powerful stuff. We'll teach you your first introduction to one of the most powerful regression techniques. If you've ever seen The Gift, we just posted a video of it, of a version of it we just did like a week, 10 days ago. This is where we teach that to you. Okay, that's where all this is. This is where you learn all that amazing stuff. It's a $1,497 value. We're going to give this to you free because we want you to win. We want you to not only take the material and transform your own mind and body, we want you to have a way to monetize it. Now, you don't have to monetize it, but if you're already a coach or a therapist or someone who does this kind of work, a change worker, this will only accelerate and amplify the value that you bring to your clients. And that's what we want. We want more people out there doing this work. These technologies are too powerful and too important to just sit in a clinic somewhere with a tiny handful of people using them. So I want to recruit you into our army and kind of go out there and change the world one person at a time. Pardon me. Okay. We're also going to, we've already talked about hidden laws of attraction, so I'm going to skip that. Yeah. We're going to talk about the real world conversational hypnosis. Now, this is more of a doing class. Now, up until now, everything we've talked about has taken place roughly inside your mind and body, inside your own autonomic nervous system. But as you move through the world, you're going to encounter situations and circumstances where you actually have to interact with people. And so I want to teach you the most ethical, powerful form of hypnotic communication, of persuasive communication I've ever come across. This particular system that I'm sharing with you literally paid my way through my undergraduate education on writing scholarships. It got me hired by every college I ever went to, except for PCOM, because I didn't apply, in the recruiting department. It allowed me to be the only work study with his own office. I was nominated to the regional president of Phi Theta Kappa, which is the world's leading honor society for two-year colleges. Okay. It got me a 4.0 with honors in business management, all from this system. Understanding how the mind works, how to talk to people, how to find out what their values are, how to link what they want to what I want in a way that just makes them want to do it. Okay. That was before I ever decided to teach this anywhere, anytime. It was all stuff I was doing for me. So I want you to have this. I want you to have this because it will change your life. What if you could walk into any job interview, anytime, anywhere, and walk out with the job, even if everybody that person interviewed before you was actually more qualified than you? This will do it, all without ever lying, cheating, or stealing. What if you could talk to somebody and have the mental representations that are playing in their head be exactly what you described with zero chance of failure? What if you could easily direct a person's focus of attention so they only paid attention to the things you wanted them to and nothing else, right? What if you could do that even if the person knew the word you were using and was trying to resist it? Think about what you can do with that. What if you could reach into a person, find out what their heart most wants and desires, show them in very clear, precise language how what you offer feeds that need, and to the point where they just ask you to buy. And that's just business. What could you do with relationships? What can you do with motivation and mediation and negotiation? That's what I'm sharing with you. Okay. You can turn these tools. Yes, Carmen, you can turn these tools on yourself very, very easily. And especially if you have the 6 dynamics of the unconscious response, which is what we gave you in part 1. Okay. This is a very, very, very powerful system. There is nothing on the planet that beats it. Nothing. I will stack self-CPI with any influence program in the world, and we will win. You will win. Okay. It's that powerful. And the best part, it's completely ethical and honest. It allows you to influence people ethically and honestly, anytime, anywhere, under any circumstance, for any reason. It's a $1,950 value. We're going to give this to you 100% free, because as we're programming and retraining your values and your actions on the inside, we want you to have the tools to express yourself on the outside, wholly, consistently, congruently. Right? We'll teach you how to control your emotional state so no one can ever push your buttons ever again. And if somebody takes you by surprise, you can get back into the game in seconds. It's a big deal. Okay. Total combined value on this is $7,941, but we're not done. If you act now, we're going to teach you the most powerful method of conversational belief change on the planet. Let me ask you something. How many of you have beliefs you'd like to change? Just type it in the chat. How many of you have beliefs right now that you would like to change? How would your life be different if I could show you 14 different ways to change any single belief you have in under 30 seconds? Would that change your life at all? What if we could change it so fully that it would be impossible to go back to those old beliefs? That's what renegade reframing is all about. It's about understanding the structure of belief, how your brain creates them, and 14 different ways to change any part of that belief that, as a byproduct of that, will change all of the belief. Okay? The first person we turn this on is the student themselves. We have them write down all of the limiting beliefs that they know about. And then as we teach them each of these patterns, we have them use that pattern to change that belief. By the time they're done, all the beliefs are changed and they can't go back. Okay? Now think about that. That's on yourself. What if you could do that to any sales objection you get? What if you could do that with any argument you're in? Because you can. We actually built a card game that comes with this, where you play, we call it the reframe game, right? Where you literally throw some belief out there, some objection, some random statement, and you throw a card at somebody and they have to use the reframe pattern on the card to change that belief. And then you get to beat them with another reframe and you can just go battling back and forth. It's a lot of fun, but it helps you to super hardwire these patterns into your brain. If you've ever been caught with, at a loss for words, or like it takes you too long to come back, this is that card game by itself will make you one of the fastest responders on the planet. You'll never have to struggle for words practically ever again. It is a lot of fun, Carmen. I love the game. I was so proud of it. We actually you can actually print it out, cut up the cards, and actually play the game with your friends and family. It's a lot of fun. We include it with the training, right? So this is a $1,950 value. This is yours for free. Why? Because we want you to have the changes. We want you to be the person you want to be and have all the tools necessary to overcome the programming you received without your knowledge, without your consent, without your ability to resist or refuse. We want you to have these tools, okay? That's what we got for you. So the Master Your Mind, or Secrets of Personality Transformation, is 14 video set plus the manual. It's going to teach you the entire 7-stage identity by design process. It's a $2,497 value. Real World Hypnosis Identity by Design, $1,497 value. There's a typo here. That's $1,997 for the Hidden Laws of Attraction. The Stealth CPI, Universal Persuasion Protocol Level 1, $1,950 value. And of course, Renegade Reframing, $1,950 value. Total value on this is $9,891 if you were to buy them individually. However, because it's that time of the month, you can take that any way you want, because I want you to change, because I want you to take the actions that you know you need to take, and I want to empower you to do that. You're not going to have to pay $9,391. You're not going to have to pay $5,347, $3,347, not even $1,497, guys. Today only, if you click that link in your chat right now, you can get everything I've just talked about and a whole lot more for one low installment of just $797. And if you need a little extra help or need an extra breathing room, we'll let you break that out into 3 easy installments of just $397 each. You can click the link today, start downloading it tonight, start watching it tonight, be changing lives, starting with your own tomorrow. Okay. So all you got to do to get yours is go to www.nlppower.com/mind. Click the link in your chat right now. And trust me when I say you want to be one of the next 15 to do that. Hint, hint, hint. You really want to be one of the next 15 to do that. Mm-hmm. Moving on, www.nlppower.com. Oh, great question. Carmen's asking, what if I already have some of them? If you have some of the video courses that are in this package, all you do after you click your link, you call Moss or you reach out to Mia, tell them what you've got. They will let you swap out any program of equal or lesser value. So you get a customized package. You don't need to buy the same thing twice. And if you have 3 of those 4 programs you already got, we'll find something for you. All the CPIs are great for what you're doing. Renegade, Real World Trauma Resolution, great stuff. A lot of good stuff in there. Okay, but you got to click that link and then reach out. By the way, speaking of reaching out and clicking the link, there's always a stampede when we hit this part of the webinar. If you call and you get Moss's voicemail, okay, please, 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 please leave your contact information. Okay, if you leave your contact information on the voicemail, we will call you within 24 hours, probably less. And if we contact you, you will qualify for all the bonuses I've talked about. And if I should be talking about bonuses that I haven't talked about, you will qualify for those too. Okay. But if you call, you get the voicemail and you just hang up and say, I'll call them tomorrow, and you do, you will not qualify for any of the bonuses. Okay. So please, by all means, click your link, reach out to Moss, customize your package, get any questions you need answered, because believe me, this price is not going to stay like this forever. And I'm only doing this because I want you to get in the game, right? The world is changing very, very quickly, economically, societally. Business world is changing, relationships are changing. We need tools that help us stay ahead of the game, that give us the advantage in an honest, ethical way, that protect us from unlawful or unethical influence. This is the fast track, okay? If you're not going to use this, what are you going to do instead? Right? Grab this. Okay. www.nlppower.com/mind. Now, for those of you who are a little bit more risk averse, for those of you who don't like to take chances, I understand that. I understand it completely. So here's the deal. There is no, I'm going to take away all the risk. Click that link right now. Test these programs. Work with us for the next 60 days. If after 60 days, if on day 59, you don't have a measurable, obvious change, a movement of the needle towards the direction of manifesting more money in your life, of finding and creating healthier, better relationships that you really want, if you're not finding and calibrating more successes and manifesting your dreams, feeling more secure and confident, more personally powerful, if you're not counting more wins in your life than before this program, pick up the phone, send us an email, and we will refund every dime that you invested in this program. And we'll let you keep whatever programs you downloaded. That's my gift for saying, hey, thanks for giving us a shot. But I promise you this. I promise you this. I have undersold, I've under-discussed what these techniques and tools can do. I am a product of the technologies that I teach, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't have time for low percentage technique. I don't have time for bullshit. I'm pretty sure you don't either, but I want to be on the side of the angels. I want to move through the world getting everything I want by helping other people get what they want and feeling good about that. And I know for most of you out there, that's true too. Let's do this. Let's change the world one person at a time, starting with you. And if you're not happy, if it's not working for you, I'll give you your money back because I don't want this. I don't want you to have this if it's not working for you. So there's no risk for this. Just click your links, nlppower.com/mind, and we'll get this party started. We'll start tonight, right? We'll start tonight. All right. Remember, this product, this package is only available until 11:59 p.m. or sorry, 11:59 p.m. tonight, April 29th, 2025. Okay, April 29th, 2025, 11:59 p.m. This goes away. Okay. Now, I may or may not have hinted that you want to be one of the next 15 people to click that link. Here's why. Be one of the next 15 people to click this link, and I'm going to give you some extra fast action bonuses, right? I'm going to give you a 3-month trial membership, 90 days, to test the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Practice Group. The NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program has been the longest running, successful, hands-on skill building training program in the world. It's been running nonstop since October of 2010. The way it works is we get together on the third Saturday of every month. Some people come in person, some people log in through Zoom or Facebook. I literally go around the room and I say, Julie, what do you want to learn? Stein, what do you want to learn? Carmen, what do you want to learn? Seth, what do you want to learn? Jason, what do you want to learn? John, what do you want to learn? Marianne, what do you want to learn? and they tell me what they want to learn. And I write those things on the board. And then I step back and I look at where they all kind of intersect and connect. I create a lesson plan on the spot. And for the next 30 minutes or the next 4.5 hours, I drill you on those skills to the best of my ability until you can do them in your sleep. And then I send you off into the world to apply your newly upgraded skills. It's a group mentoring program, one-on-one with me and you, and a group of people who are truly excited, passionate to learn these skills and to be part of something bigger, right? You will not get a certificate from the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. What you will get is something much more valuable. You will get skills. You will become better. You will evolve. You will be surrounded by people who are just like you, who want the same things you want and are looking for people to practice and share and go with. Okay? Some of the best people I've ever met came into this mastermind and just stayed. Now, you can try it all for 90 days. If after 90 days you got what you came for and you decide you've had enough, you can exit the program. No harm, no foul. You got what you needed. If after 90 days you decide you like Planet David, you want to hang more, we'll show you how to extend your membership. One of the other perks for those of you who want more hands-on training is we've recorded every single training session of the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Group for the last 14 years. Remember, it's 2025. We started in 2010. We've archived all of those videos on our Facebook groups, on our YouTube channels, on our home website. We're in the process of consolidating it all into a Kajabi archive. As a member of the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program in good standing, you will get full access to the entire 14-year video archive. Content that covers everything from manifestation to dating and attraction, to law of attraction, to therapy, to energetics, to accelerated learning, and all points in between: hypnosis, NLP, hypnotherapy, holographic memory resolution, energy healing, remote healing, psychic skills. If it's in our wheelhouse, it's in there. It's in that archive somewhere. Now, I'll tell you up front, it's member driven, so there's no pecking order. A lot of times you'll see the same stuff, but this is all content that's never been featured in a product. It's never been put out on YouTube as a standalone video. It's all pure, reserved, elite premium content just for our NLP Power members. You get to binge watch that to your heart's content, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for as long as you're a member in good standing of the program. Total value on this is $1,597 value. We're going to give it to you for free because we want you to be good. We want you to have what you need. Total combined value, if you keep doing the math, and GTP said this math is right, so Seth isn't here to tell me I'm wrong, so I'll go with that. $11,488, but we're not done yet. Click that link right now, and I will give you one of our most powerful programs that we've ever created. It's called the Stealth Instant Conversation Hypnosis Crash Course. This is kind of like Stealth CPI Junior. This was a course that we created for people who didn't want to go through 30 hours of training before they could start hypnotizing someone. So we created this program, and it literally is like you can watch 2 hours of video and be hypnotizing somebody that night. But it comes with a whole lot of other stuff. It comes with videos on anchoring. It comes with videos on lie detection, instant and rapid inductions, the 7 most powerful hypnotic language patterns that exist. There's some special raw video of me teaching these 7 language patterns in a private home back when I was doing meetups out here in San Diego. I believe it also comes with a video on lie detection, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, what we call hypnotic hot buttons, which is all about emotional bonding and bonding people emotionally to your words. It comes with manuals, transcripts, workbooks, lots and lots of videos, but you only need to watch 2 videos to go out and start hypnotizing people in normal conversations that night. Or if you want to just do instant and rapid inductions, you only need to watch 1 video and you can be just dropping people left and right. It's for people who don't want to wait, for people who want to start tonight. It's a $997 value. We're going to give this to you absolutely free. Total combined value on this is $12,485 if you were to buy everything on its own. However, we're not stopping there. Any of you who click that link right now, this is the one you've been waiting for. For anybody who clicks that link right now, I am going to gift you a free VIP Anything Goes Super Event Bonus ticket. Now, let me explain to you what this is. This ticket is a free pass to any 3-day event that I'm teaching between now and the end of time. So, for example, actually, I need to update the slide. If we do face reading for fun and profit, which we just finished, or I didn't update this slide. So what we've got coming up, we've got Hypnotic Laws of Attraction coming up in July. We've got the Virtual Healing Intensive coming up next weekend. We've got well, I'll give you the it's a 4-day, but I'll extend it. I'll give you the vibrational healing training in Las Vegas at the end of July. But any 3-day event on our calendar, you can use this ticket for. Get you right in the door. If the training is overbooked, we'll make you a seat. If something happens at the last minute and you can't come, we'll move you to another training, right? Any single 3-day event of your choice. The only thing I'm going to say is, please make sure if there's a prereq for the class that you have the prereq. But for most of our 3 days, there is no prereq, so you're good, right? You don't even need to know what course it is that you want to attend. As long as you're in our VIP database, when you're ready to attend a training, it's there for you, right? It's a $2,497 value, and it's going to allow you to attend our virtual healing intensive if you want, where you'll eliminate self-sabotage, heal your physical and emotional pain, remove blocks and limiting beliefs, find and remove hidden negativity, clear up issues that just don't seem to go away, change that crappy voice inside your head, resolve negativity from your past, get in touch with your true self, and much, much more. The virtual healing intensive, for most of you, is going to make the most sense. Is vibrational healing online? Carmen, technically, no, but the virtual healing intensive is. The virtual healing intensive is a 100% online. Usually when I do the events out in Las Vegas, we don't stream them unless you're one of our mega platinum coaching members. But there are other 3 days that we have in the pipeline, and you can use this ticket for any of them. Okay. So the total value on this, and again, this is only for the next 15 people who click that link. So if you've already clicked the link, you already got one of these. So if you want to come to the virtual healing event, which is me guiding you through 3 days of just one intense transformational process after another, let Moss know. We'll get you a seat. If you want to gift that ticket to somebody else so they can come to a training, we'll do that too. If the price goes up between now and the end of time and you use that ticket, you don't pay a dime more or less. That seat is yours, and anytime you want it, you can use it. If something happens at the last minute and you can't come, pick the phone up, let us know. We'll move you to another training. If you want to come at the last minute, pick up the phone, let us know. We will make a seat for you, even if the room is filled. Okay? If we do a training out in another country, you can come to that too, right? If you want to gift it to somebody, you can do that. This is your ticket. That's yours until you use it. Total value is $2,497. Total combined value on everything we've talked about so far is $14,982. Think about that for a moment. Think about what you're getting, right? And you have us in your corner guiding you step by step by step through all of it. Jack says, virtual healing event is so awesome. You can come out feeling like a different person. For those who have stubborn beliefs, it is a wonderful start. Excellent. I know Julie Holmes is out there. She's been through a couple of our healing intensives. So if you've been through the healing intensives, let people know what's in store for them. So here's what I got for you guys. The Master Your Mind Home Study Program includes the Secrets of Personality Transformation Master Your Mind Home Study Program. It's a $2,497 value. It's going to include the Hidden Laws of Attraction, Manifestation, and Mind Control Mastery Home Study course, valued at $1,997. We're going to give that to you free. You're going to get the Identity by Design Real World Hypnotherapy Home Study Program, $1,497 value. We're going to give that to you free. You're going to get Stealth CPI, Universal Persuasion Protocol, $1,950 value, also free. You're going to get Renegade Reframing Rapid Conversational Belief Change, $1,950 value, free. You're going to get the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Trial Membership, $1,597 value. We're going to give that to you free too. You get the Stealth Instant Conversational Hypnosis Crash Course, $997 value, free. And last but definitely not least, the VIP Anything Goes free event super ticket. First 15 people only to click that link. Now remember, guys, fast action bonuses are only good if you click that link while I am live on the webinar. When I log off the webinar tonight, the fast action bonuses go away. Repeat that 2 more times. When I log off the webinar tonight, the fast action bonuses go away. When I log off the webinar tonight, the fast action bonuses go away. Now, why do I keep repeating things over and over and over again? Because some people will tell me I never said it. Okay. Also, the way you impress the unconscious mind is through multiple repetitions. All right. My job is to help you. I'm really good at what I do, but it's a two-way street. Okay. You do your part, I'll do mine, and we'll rock this. Okay. I want you guys to win, and I want to give you every opportunity to do that. That being said, if you don't give people deadlines, this is for all of you who are ever going to be in business for yourself. If you don't give people deadlines and enforce those deadlines, people don't take action. It's just a fact of human nature. So if you're ready for something new, if you're ready for something different, if you're ready to level up, it's time to take action. Click the link and you get it all for just $797 or 3 installments of $397 each. So just click your link right now. Go to www.nlppower.com/mind and we'll get this party started. While you're doing that, I'm going to give you guys a 7-minute break to grab a drink, finish up your program, talk to Moss, send them an email, click those links again. And then when we come back, we're going to pick up where we left off and we're going to start working on the issues that are most important to you using the foundations we laid in part 1. Does that sound like a plan? This means yes. This means no. All right, guys, I will see you in 7 minutes. Okay, my friends, I'm back. Hopefully you guys all had a fulfilling experience with your links and Mia and all that good, and Moss and all that good stuff. So let's talk. What's on your to-do list? What is it you guys want to drill down on now? What do you guys want to focus on? Learn faster? Okay. What else? Self-sabotage. Ooh, okay. Anything else? Would now be a good time to answer. I know the YouTubers are going to lag a little bit. That's okay. Not resist money, procrastination. Okay. G Wilson's asking, what are some good beliefs to have in general? I only believe in things that make my life better. Landing the NFL team that I want. Lisa, that sounds like a gambling question to me. Can you elaborate on that? Okay. All right. So to get into the transformation work, I'm torn when I get to parts like this, because the educator in me wants to just start giving you all the reasons why this shit works, how it works, and all that stuff. The healer in me just wants to fix your shit. Right? So it's always fun for me, or but it's challenging when I get to this place, because there's so many things that, oh, I've been trying to get with an NFL team as a mindset coach, and oh, okay, all right, I think might have something that might help you with that. That's more of a manifestation question, unless you've got some interviews in the future that you're going to be working with. There are some techniques that actually would help you a lot. They're not, well, they are. We'll see what we can do with that. Okay. Anybody have anything else? What does Richard? What does amuse the subconscious mean? As an entertainer, I'd like to leave them laughing. Okay. So are you funny? I want to learn to ignore external stimuli and concentrate despite rowdy neighbors and the most annoying dog 8 feet in the okay. Okay. I see now where you guys want to go. All right. So then let's go ahead and go through a little tiny bit more theory. Then we're going to start playing with getting rid of some of the limiting beliefs. And we'll look at maybe doing some influence, and then maybe a little bit of manifestation work. All the things I'm going to share with you are pieces of the package. Like they're in the package and a whole lot more. But by all means, it's important to have samples. So let's talk about the 6 dynamics of the unconscious response. The first thing I talked about in part 1 was that, let's review this really quick. The unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud, and it's never linear, right? Okay. So when we start to unpack things, especially when we start to delve into we have 2 kinds of belief. James says overcome social anxiety. We can do that. We can do that. Remember, you have 2 sets of beliefs. Beliefs you know about and beliefs you don't. So our first exercise, I promised you I would show you how to do this. Our first exercise has to be, how do we find the beliefs we don't know about? How do we do that? The secret is we have to provoke them. How do we provoke them? We go after the things we want. Okay, this is important because some of you are either have the program I'm about to describe running, or you will very shortly. There's a certain subsection of the population, okay, that are personal transformation, self-help junkies. Okay, they're running from seminar to seminar to seminar to seminar, fixing their shit, and they're always finding more shit to fix. And they're operating from this basic idea, this basic belief that once all their shit is fixed, they can move forward. What they don't realize is that they're running away. They're running away from moving forward. Okay. You remember at the beginning of the webinar, I said everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. Now in NLP, we have this concept called meta programs. Meta programs are little filters or subroutines in our neurology that do the same thing regardless of what context I'm in. So for example, if I'm a person who sorts by exception, I look at something and I pick out all the things that are different from all the things on the shelf, as opposed to someone who sorts for sameness, where I look at all the things that are the same. And it doesn't matter if I'm looking at chewing gum, a dress shirt, or a house. I'm going to sort it the same way. Difference, 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 sameness, sameness, sameness. It's content or context free. It's above the context. It's meta to it, right? There's another meta program that every human being has, which I'm teaching you about, just not in so many words. And that's towards and away from. We're always moving towards the things we want and away from the things we don't want. The question becomes, which one do we do first? Do I move away from the things I don't want towards the things I want? Or do I move towards the things I want and away from the things I don't want? You need both to have what NLP calls a complete propulsion system. Okay. What happens many times is people get this idea that if I can just fix all my stuff, I won't have any obstacles to moving forward. And so they set out on this mission to relentlessly, passionately fix everything they can find so they can start. But here's the rub. They always find more stuff. So they're starting on fixing their shit, but they never start living their life. So I'm going to give this to you. I give this to all my hypnosis students. I give this to all my personal transformation students, my influence students, and that is this. Whatever you have right now, knowledge-wise, skill-wise, whatever, it's enough to start moving towards your better life. So start moving. Keep moving forward. When something comes up that triggers you because you provoked it by moving forward, fix it and keep moving forward. Don't keep looking for things to fix. Because if you look for them, you will find them. And if it's not holding you back, it's not important yet. Does that make sense? If you constantly move through the world looking for stuff to fix, your brain, your neurology, literally just from a purely generational genetic memory trauma perspective, there are thousands and thousands and perhaps millions of years of encoded trauma in your DNA. If you go looking for something, you'll find something. But is that thing you're clearing up relevant to the path you're on right now? A lot of times, yes. A lot of times, no. How do you know that what you need to work on is relevant to your path right now? Because when you start on your path, it pops up. It gets in the way. That's how you know it's relevant. If it's not directly impacting some area of your life that you care about, it's not important enough yet. You follow me? Because the techniques I'm going to share with you, and I know I've been teasing you a little bit, the techniques I'm going to share with you are powerful, and you can spend weeks just finding shit to fix. I'm going to encourage you to not do that. I'm going to encourage you to pick a direction, pick an outcome, pick something you want, start moving towards it. And as the things that are in that way are provoked by your move, your forward momentum, you've used these tools to fix those. Does that make sense? It's easy to distract yourself. I've dealt with clinically. I had a clinic in Solana Beach since 2005 where I dealt with every form of emotionally induced illness you can imagine. I've seen this behavior over and over and over again. You came into this life to create and move forward. You can't move forward looking backwards. Okay. All right. So that being said, let's go back to the basics. You have 6 dynamics of the unconscious response. Unconscious mind always answers first, always answers honestly, always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud. It's never linear. Okay. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they're moving towards or a feeling they're moving away from. They want more of it or they want less of it. If you can point to where you feel it, you can access it. If you can point to if you can access it, you can change it. Okay. Now, one of the hallmarks of our particular approach to change work is what we call somatic engagement. It's about getting the body physically engaged in the change work that you're doing. One of the things I discovered quite by accident many, many years ago was that when you start physically mimicking the activities you're doing mentally, you go into a profound state of trance, and it doesn't matter what your neocortex wants to do. If you just start physically acting out the transformations long enough, it will overwrite what the neocortex is trying to do. It will overwrite your willpower, and your entire system will synchronize up, and you'll get change. Okay. This is why when you see me doing these videos on YouTube and stuff like that, why I'm always have the person moving their hands and reaching out, touching things, stuff like that. When you physically start acting out your change work, it doesn't matter what your neocortex wants to believe. At some point, your physiology will overwhelm your psychology, and all of your system will become fully absorbed in the process. And all of you start speaking the same language. That's one of the problems that we have with classical approaches to change work, is that we divide the body up into different subsystems, and they all speak different languages. You don't need to know all that to do the fixing, right? But like I said, I want you guys to understand that there is a deeper level to what we're teaching you about how the system works. You don't need to know that to get the change. If you've got the package, you're going to get all that, right? So, but we are going to point to where we feel it. Now, we're going to start by learning to provoke things. So we're going to do something very interesting. What I want us to do is I want us to take out a piece of paper. Let me find a piece of paper. Of all the things I prepared for tonight, a piece of paper apparently was not one of them. Anyway, I want you to get out a piece of paper, and I want you to write across the top of it, what do I want? In other words, or what do I want to change? So let me do this on my OneNote so you guys can see kind of how I want you to do this. Don't mind me. I'm trying to see if I've got if I have one of these worksheets already worked out. It doesn't look like it, so I'm just going to go ahead and start a new sheet. So let's start off. Get out a piece of paper. On the top of the sheet, I want you to write, what do I want to change? And I want you to write 1 to 5 things. Okay. Now, keep them simple and low intensity. So on a scale of 0 to 10, let's try to keep it between a 1 and a 3, just for the sake of simplicity, okay? And because you're doing this solo without me being there, We want to make sure that it's something you can manage. As you go through the training, you'll be able to handle the Godzilla level stuff. So let's say maybe, what do I want to change? I want to remove limiting beliefs about money. Okay. Maybe I want to stop being afraid of people. Maybe I want be more persuasive. Now, I would recommend that we start by removing the stuff that holds us back. So maybe stop being shy, or stop choking up, or stop not being able to express myself. Okay, so I want you to just fill in 1 to 5 of these things. When you've done that, I want you to go ahead and just type done in the chat. Okay. Okay, Carmen says done. Excellent. Done, Richard says. Cool. Excellent. Now, where in my body, go to the first one. Close your eyes. Where in my body, read the first one out loud, whatever that is. Where in my body do I feel that? And point to it. And then next to that heading, write down the body location where you feel it. Next question. Is it okay to change this? Is there any reason why I might want to keep it? Okay, so let's look at what we've got. What do I want to change? Where in my body do I feel it? Is it okay to change this? Now, when you ask that question, is it okay to change this? Is there any reason why I might want to keep it? What's the first thing that pops into your head? You feel an instinctive yes or no. You may notice a feeling of yuck, a yucky feeling when at the thought of getting rid of it or at the thought of dealing with it. That's usually a no. Right? If it's anything but a resounding hell yes, okay, then it's a no. All right. So ankles are hurting like hell now. Good, Carmen. It means you found something cool. All right. So I kind of skipped the order I was going to do these things in, and that's okay. So I want you to look at, we're going to do this together. So I want you to look at entry number 1 on your sheet. Close your eyes. Say it out loud. Notice where you feel it and point to it. If there were a picture floating in the space around you that represented that feeling, a picture you could reach out and touch, take your other hand, reach out and touch that picture, first impression. You don't know, pretend you know, reach out and touch it. Now take your outline, take both of your hands, trace the outline of that picture with both of your hands so you know how big it is. And let's make sure we've got the right one. Grab the edges of the picture, expand the picture. Notice what happens to the feelings in your body. Do they get stronger or weaker? Now, some people, when they make it bigger, that feeling will get stronger. Some people, when they make it bigger, that feeling will get weaker. Doesn't matter. Just recognize and calibrate. Bring it back to its original size. Slowly pull the picture closer to your body. but keep the size of the picture the same. Does the feeling get stronger or weaker? You don't got to type it in the chat. Just follow along for now. Now put it back to where it was. Use your imagination now. Put a big, thick, black frame around that picture. Now, most of you are too young to remember when televisions had real dials and knobs and switches instead of touch screens and remote controls. But I want you to feel along the base of that frame. You're going to notice some dials and knobs like on an old style television. I want you to find the knob that controls the brightness or the contrast and turn that knob all the way to the right until the image whites out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Turn the knob all the way to the left until the image blacks out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. And decide for yourself which one you like better. Whichever direction makes it better, turn it all the way to that way. Now, once you've got that, now, if there's some other color that makes it better, you can use that. Okay? Take the index finger of your dominant hand, and in glowing golden letters on that whited out or blacked out or otherwise colored out screen, there were some lessons that this experience had to teach you, positive or negative. I want you to write those lessons on the screen in glowing golden letters so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. Now, some people, they know exactly what those lessons are and they blast them on the screen like it's nobody's business. Some people have no conscious idea what those lessons are, but the part of you that created that feeling, the part of you that created that frame, that part always knows. So give permission to that part to use that finger to write those lessons on the screen so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. Now the screen will scroll like a tablet scrolls. So you have an infinite, unlimited writing space. When my wife does this technique, she writes for 40 minutes at a time. It's like she's writing a chapter for War and Peace. Some people draw squiggles. Some people draw pictures. Some people have these rage attacks and write F-U, F-U, F-U all across the screen. Some people write with both hands simultaneously, like they're writing Chinese or Hebrew at the same time. However your body wants to do it, give permission to that finger or fingers to write on that screen however they want to do it, so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. If feelings and emotions come up, put them on the screen. As they come up, they come out. As they feel it, as you feel it, you reveal it. As you reveal it, you heal it. Solve, dissolved, and resolved from your body. Solve, dissolved, and resolved from the mind for all the right reasons. Put those things on the screen. Keep writing. Keep expressing. As it comes up, it comes out. And no matter what happens, no matter what feelings come out, no matter what your body does, keep putting that stuff on the screen. Keep writing until everything that needs to be expressed is on that screen and everything else has been let go. Now, as I continue to talk, you may be continuing to write. That's okay. You keep doing this until you're done, even if I'm moving on to something else. You can't short circuit or shortcut this process. So as you're writing, let the feelings come up and out. When you know it's done, and only when you know it's done, I want you to reach up with both of your hands, grab that frame, shrink it down to the size of a postage stamp or even smaller. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as that frame, as your other than conscious mind, your autonomic nervous system moves that frame up over the top of your head, back beyond the horizon till it disappears below the horizon completely. And we all know the sound a hammer makes when you're banging a nail in. It's nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back. You know it's nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back. Test it. Try to bring the old feelings back. Try to turn the new feelings off. And notice what happens instead. Take all the time you need to let that processing take place. When you're satisfied, and only when you're satisfied, stop testing. Scan your body. Notice how different you feel. And tell me what's changed. Tell me what you discover. Take all the time you need and then go ahead and type it in the chat. Frank Cabin says, grin of satisfaction. Makes me wonder what Frank is doing over there. Agnes, just let your body process the emotions. Lioness says, I feel lighter, more clear, and more calm. Left ankle, mild ache now due to hurt. Can you elaborate on that, Carmen? Shane says, feel lighter. Eduardo says, energy bubbles in my hands, warmth, and watery eyes. Yes. How many started yawning? Anybody notice you start yawning or twitching or getting all these weird feelings? Jan says, my stomach feels less empty. Yes. Richard Cooper says, sexy as hell, baby. Exactly. Okay. Okay, so you asked why it was still aching, got due to hurt. So when we talk about hurt, Carmen, is it physical hurt or emotional hurt? James says more relaxes and confidence in myself. Yes, emotional. If there were a place in your, I'm going to do this for Carmen really quickly. Carmen, if there were a place in your body where that emotional hurt was stored, a place you could touch, where would it be? Reach out and touch it. All right. That's right. Close your eyes and look at that heart and notice there's a color. Maybe even a series of colors connected to that feeling. What's the color? First impression. Purple. Excellent. Now, you don't have to type anymore. I want you to close your eyes, reach in, grab all that purple energy, take it out and hold it in your hands in front of you. Make sure you get it all because sometimes that shit hides. All right. When you've got it all, I want you to look at it and notice, did the color change or stay the same? First impression. Then notice it's moving. It's spinning in a certain direction. Okay, you don't need to type it, sweetie. Just follow the instructions, okay? Notice it's moving, it's spinning in a certain direction. What direction is it spinning? Trace it with your hand. Once you find the direction, grab it with both of your hands and make it the opposite of what it was. Once you got it the opposite of what it was, I want you to spin it like a wheel and double the spin, double the speed, double the force, double the magnitude. Keep doubling it over and over and over again until it takes on a life of its own, until it's impossible for it to go back the way it was. When you know you've got it, slam it back into that spot. Notice the change. Notice it's gone. Notice as this new program works its way deeper and deeper and deeper into your neurology, any program, any belief, any memory, any experience that's not in harmony with that new set of instructions, your neurology is going to begin to shed. It's going to begin to purge like a snake shedding its skin, like old software being uninstalled by newer, better, more powerful software. There's no need to measure it, manage it, or make it happen faster. Just notice that process taking place. Allow it to install itself completely. And when you know it's done, and only when you know it's done, Carmen, I want you to test it. Try to bring the old feelings back, try to turn the new feelings off, and notice what happens instead. Many times as this new program works its way deeper and deeper and deeper into our system, our body goes through all kinds of interesting changes and transformations. Some people break out into sweat, some people laugh, some people yawn, some people cry, some people twitch. Some people just feel waves of emotion coming up. However your body does it, looks like she's already processed it, but I'm going to continue my litany. However your body does it, it's just your neurology resetting itself. It's just the emotional detox. There's no need to measure it, manage it, or make it happen faster. Just notice that process taking place. Allow it to install itself completely. And when you know it's done, test it. Try to bring the old feelings back, try to turn the new feelings off, and notice what happens instead. When you're satisfied, and only when you're satisfied, scan your body, notice how different you feel, and tell me what you discover. Free relief. Excellent. Scale of 0 to 10, rate any remaining feelings, if any. Boom. All right. And of course, that's how you do it. That's how fast it can be, right? Even when I don't even know anything about Carmen says, wow. I wasn't kidding, guys. You're made of magic. There's very few things that your nervous system can't change. Here's a little rule. You'll learn this in your packages. Anything the nervous system creates, the nervous system can change. There is nothing about you that your nervous system didn't have a part in. And there's not a thing that your nervous system does that you can't transform. Okay. So what we did with Carmen is she had what we call a classic case. Oh, thank you. I clarify, says, I appreciate your candor in sharing these life skills. I didn't trust you at first. I asked why, but again, your candor answering to the level of the playing field. Thank you. You're welcome. Again, there's some people that don't resonate with my approach. There's people who, because I wear funky vests, they think, oh, this guy must be a carnival poser or whatever. It's just how I roll. I've never been a conformist. And sometimes that counts against me. But at the end of the day, you don't got to believe me. You just got to do the work. If you do the drill, Carmen says, I feel free for the first time ever. Carmen, it's only going to get better, sweetie. See, that particular technique is very short, but it triggers a chain reaction in the body that causes it to just keep releasing stuff. So you're going to want to drink a lot of water and give yourself permission to emotionally express yourself in a time and a place where it's safe to do that. All right. Well, Carmen, you just sit there and process and enjoy it. It's only going to get better for you. So what we just did with the frame part is called the magic frame. It's designed, it was that little technique I showed you from Identity by Design where we go in and we remove the reasons that your unconscious mind has for holding on to something. And what you saw with Carmen was a classic follow-up to the magic frame. Many times when you have an issue, especially if it goes away and comes back, or it starts at a certain level and you do some change work and it drops, and then it just stops there and it doesn't get any better, you're dealing with what the autonomic nervous system has created is called a safety lesson. There's a little addendum, a little rider on that file that says, hey, we can't get rid of this yet because something bad might happen. And the unconscious mind isn't convinced that you're mature enough to let it go. So you have to prove to it that you got the lesson. And so the magic frame is what you do to preserve that lesson and give the nervous system the opportunity to let everything else go. Because your nervous system, a lot of times when dealing with some of these more complicated issues, it cares about your safety, not about your happiness. And if feeling a certain type of discomfort will keep you from making a mistake that will hurt you worse, it will do that and it won't ask your permission until it's certain that you've learned this lesson and it's been processed and you're going to avoid it in the future. The magic frame is the exact technique you use to neutralize that mechanism and have the system give permission for it to be let go. Then you would go into a technique like the energy spinning, like we just did with Carmen, or you could do color breathing, which is another part of what we call the transformational triad. Okay. So Jag is asking, is it necessary to put the black frame? Because in one of the YouTubes you said that I learned from you. No. The technique I'm teaching you is an archetype. It's a guide. It's a template. As you start working with your own system, and this is where you become the magic, I'm going to give you in your courses, I'm going to give you a system that allows you to create very powerful, deep, rapid changes in yourself and ultimately other people. But it's a guide. It's not the law. What it's going to do is allow you a method to explore your own internal coding systems so that you can figure out all the nuances of how your neurology creates your experiences and your belief systems. Okay. I'm giving you my template that you can apply and creates powerful change in you, but you're going to discover other nuances and other ways of utilizing that system if you play with it. The secret to this, by the way, guys, is to be as playful as humanly possible. The more playful you are with this, even with the heinous, traumatic stuff, The more playful you are with this, the more internal resources you access neurologically. One of my students, Seth, who's a former Harvard grad, used to teach, actually was a teacher at Harvard. He loves to do research on a lot of the stuff I teach. And he discovered that if you come to a task, it takes 10,000 repetitions to create a new neurological pathway in your brain if you're serious about it. Let me repeat that. It takes over 10,000 repetitions to create a new neurological circuit in your brain if you're serious about it. But if you're playful about it, it takes 12, not 12,000, 12. That's the science. That's an accelerated, enhanced neuroplasticity. What if you could take something and decrease it by over 9,000%? That's all you got to do is be playful, right? But we're not taught that. We're taught this serious, go for it, make things happen, get things done. And that works. But it also means we're working a lot harder than we need to be. Okay? It's in the Bible, guys. Be as little children. The more playful you are with this, the more pretending you are with this, the more you get your body engaged with the transformational processes, the more quickly and rapidly your body will change and evolve. Okay, I didn't make this up. I just tripped over it. But I got pieces of it from a bunch of different places. And one day I just looked in my little bag of tricks and saw I had all these Legos that I could put together in all kinds of cool and interesting ways. And that's what I've been doing ever since. I'm not done. There's going to be more stuff. But you've got enough right now with just what you saw with what we did with the frame and the spinning to nuke just about every problem that you have. Believe it or not. Okay. I know you don't, and you don't have to, but you do have to play with it. Okay. So before we move on to the next piece, which was what I was going to start with, but then I wound up doing the magic frame instead. What questions do you have about what we've covered so far? Okay. So then, oops. All right. In that case, let's do a quick reminder that we still have that special. So if you're on the fence and you still want an opportunity to grab your package, then by all means, here it is. All right, what we're talking about is the Mastering Your Mind home study program. It's the Secrets of Personality Transformation Ultimate Mind Control Mastery Home Study Course plus the manual. It's valued at $2,497. Hidden Laws of Attraction, Manifestation and Mind Control Mastery Home Study Course, $1,997 values. That's a freebie. We'll just give that to you. You get the Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study Course. I will warn you, those of you who are going to use this in your practice, if you charge by the session, you should be safe. But if you charge by the hour, like I used to do, you may have to dramatically change your pricing structure because you'll be fixing things so fast, you won't make any money. Okay, so this is a $1,497 value. We're going to give that to you free. Stealth CPI Universal Persuasion Protocol, $1,950 value. We're going to give that to you absolutely free. Renegade Reframing Conversational Belief Change, $1,950 value, free. The NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, $1,597 value, free. Stealth Instant Conversational Hypnosis Crash Course, $997 value, 100% free. And that VIP Anything Goes free event super ticket, $2,497 value, absolutely free. Now, for those of you who are interested, what you just saw me do with the magic frame and what you saw me do with the spinning technique with Carmen, those are a big piece of what we'll be doing for 3 solid days, plus a whole lot more at the virtual healing intensive that's coming up. So if you did grab your package already, and if you didn't, click the link now before they're all gone. We got a whole weekend of just nothing but one change like that after another, after another, after another. So if you're ready to be different, maybe you don't want to go out and teach other people to do this or do it for money, but you just want to fix your own shit. that virtual healing intensive this weekend is going to be a great way for you to get clear once and for all. All you got to do is click your link, nlppower.com/mind. Nancy says, love this part, love magic frame because my hands want to keep moving. Yes, good, good. The secret to this, guys, believe it or not, is connecting the inside to the outside and getting both hands active in the process. After that, it doesn't matter what your neocortex, your conscious mind, wants to believe. If you keep doing it long enough, it will overwrite and co-opt all the different divisions of your nervous system. You'll get completely absorbed in the process and you'll change. Change is literally inevitable if you do this. You don't have to believe it, but you do have to want it. And that's the issue sometimes. Okay. Agnes says, oh my God, that sounds awesome. Yes, I'm a little biased. So that being said, all right. So that being said, let me go ahead and go back to what I was going to start with, which is provocation. So I want you guys to write down something you really want, but you've been having this, or something you want to manifest. So maybe I want a 6-figure business. Maybe I want a loving, happy, fulfilling relationship. Maybe I want to become a certified neuro-linguistic programmer under David. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down. And now what we're going to do is something very interesting. I'm going to ask you to do a classical affirmation. In other words, a classical affirmation is something like every day in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. But maybe it's every day in every way, I'm earning six more figures to my income. Every day in every way, I'm adding more money to I earn more money. Every day in every way, I'm losing more weight. Every day in every way, I'm getting thinner and thinner. Whatever it is that you want to manifest or reprogram your subconscious mind to do, I want you to write it down in the form of an affirmation, a classically structured affirmation. Okay? And when you've done that, type done in the chats. Okay? You guys with me? Every day in every way, I'm getting more and more like Sir David. Excellent. Okay. So here's what we do. I would prefer if you stood up for this, but if you're driving, I get it. I want you to just take a moment, get really neutral, become aware of your body. Okay. Notice how you feel. Once you've got that, I want you to pick up your affirmation and I want you to read it out loud 10 times. Read it out loud 10 times. When you've done that, type done in the chat. It's okay, I'll wait. You never, Jan, go ahead and call Moss at 858-282-4663, and he will work out something with you. Okay? But you might want to do that now. Jag says I got high from it. Done. Okay. Now, check in with your body. Notice how you feel. And now, here's what I want you to do now. I want you to pay attention to where in your body you feel the good stuff And as you do, I want you to become aware of any place in your body where any icky feelings come up. It's almost like background noise. Notice where it is and point to it. And on a scale of 0 to 10, rate the intensity of that icky feeling. And when you've got that, again, some of you may not have any icky feelings at all, and that's great. But I want you to become aware of any subtle background ickiness and notice where in your body you feel that. Okay? And then rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. And then type in the chat if you found ickiness, type found it. If you didn't have any, type clear. Clear, good. Tightness, okay, found it. All right, for those of you who are clear, congratulations. For those of you who found it, congratulations. You just found the beliefs you didn't know you had. You just found the beliefs you didn't know you had. Okay, so take your hand, point to where you feel the ick, and ask yourself a question. Is it okay to change this? Is there any reason why I might want to keep it? If the answer is anything but a hell yes, it's okay to get rid of it, you know what to do. Point to where you feel it. If there were a picture floating in the space around you that represented that feeling, a picture you could reach out and touch, where would you reach out to touch it? Trace the outline of it with both of your hands so you know how big it is. Grab the frame, expand it. Notice what happens to the feeling in your body. Does it get stronger or does it get weaker? Doesn't matter which one it is, just know which one your system does. Bring it back, pull it closer to your body, keep the feeling the same. Notice how it changes. Put it back. Now put a big, thick, black frame around that. And just like before, find the knob at the base of the frame that controls the brightness or the contrast. Turn that knob all the way to the right until the image whites out completely, and notice how that makes you feel. Turn the knob all the way to the left until the image blacks out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Decide for yourself which one you like better. Turn that knob in whatever direction gives you the best feeling possible. And take the index finger of your dominant hand, and just like before, in glowing golden letters on that whited out, blacked out, or otherwise colored out frame, there were some lessons that this experience had to teach you. Write those lessons on the screen so you can keep those lessons and let everything else go. Jag, I'll answer your question in just a moment. Okay, just keep writing. The screen will scroll like a tablet scroll, so you have an infinite writing space. Some people know exactly what those lessons are, and they write them on the screen like it's nobody's business. Some people have no conscious idea what those lessons are, but the part of you that created the feeling, the part of you that created that frame, that part of you always knows. So give control of that finger to that part of you and let it write those lessons of what it's trying to do for you, positive or negative. So you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. Some people draw squiggles. Some people draw pictures. Every now and then somebody writes FU, FU, FU across the screen. However you do it, it's all good. Put those feelings on the screen. Put those lessons on the screen. Keep writing until everything that needs to be expressed is on that screen and everything else has been let go. When you know you're done, and only when you know you're done, reach up, shrink that picture down to the size of a postage stamp or even smaller. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as your autonomic nervous system, your other than conscious mind, moves that frame up over the top of your head, back beyond the horizon until it disappears completely. And just like before, we all know the sound a hammer makes when you're banging on a nail. Nailed back there for all eternity and possible come back. It's nailed back there for all eternity and possible come back. Test it. Try to bring the old feelings back. Try to turn the new feelings off. And notice what happens instead. When you're satisfied, and only when you're satisfied, stop testing, scan your body, notice how different you feel. And when you're done, go ahead and type in the chat what happened. Don't be surprised if you're yawning, sweating, twitching, doing all kinds of weird things. That's your body reprocessing. Shane says, no more pressure, chills all over body. Great. Yes. Well done, Shane. Just gets better from here. Now, for those of you who are clear, I mean, for those of you who are have done the framing part, speak your affirmation now and tell me what changes. Lioness says, I feel a loosening of my neck area. The lump in my throat is gone. Bravo. Bravo, my friends. Who else? Who else has got something? So Jagdeep says, I have a fear of becoming someone that I don't want to become with money. Yes, you do. And there's a reason that that fear is there. And there's a place in your body where that reason is stored. Point to where you feel it and frame it and spin it. And tell me what happens. I can say that to Jag because he's been through a bunch of my trainings. He knows how to do this. Now, what Jag is talking about is a common problem. It's something that, I know I did clear and partied a lot last night, but I used it for the hangover and slight nausea feeling and it's gone. Yes, I have clients that were heroin addicts going into rehab, and they actually used these techniques to neutralize the withdrawal effects when they were detoxing. Like they would start to feel it coming on, they would spin it to be gone. They went through their entire rehab spinning and framing. I don't talk about that too much, but it's a real case. Nancy says, my whole body was wiggling this time. I'm so happy now. Bravo. Now think about this for a minute, guys. How long did that take? Did you need 20 years of therapy? No, you didn't even need 20 minutes. Why? Because there is nothing, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be a very controversial statement. It's going to be a very provocative statement. There is nothing inside of you, and I really believe this. There is nothing inside of you that you haven't already beaten. And there's nothing inside of you that you can't change. Okay? You just have to know how the system works. Okay? And that's my mission. My mission is to get this information into the right hands as fast as I can. But I'm just one guy. Right? And so I put it out there and I let people decide. How far down this rabbit hole do you really want to go? Because it's deep. This is just the cherry on a sundae. Okay? But there's no pain that you have. There's no emotional issue that you're carrying around that you can at the very least put a dent in. You know, I'm gonna pick on Jag a little bit just because when he came to our healing intensive, Jag, can I share your story a little bit with the group? And if you don't want me to do it, that's fine. I respect that. Oh, Oh, okay. So it's not the Jag. Oh man, I have another Jagdeep. You're not the same person. Okay, so the other JJ isn't here. So I had a gentleman who came to my healing intensive. He actually came to my Unleashing the Magic training in Vegas last July. And he came to a healing intensive. And he had neuropathy in both his legs for 9 years. It took us about 10 minutes to fix it. And as far as I know, it's still never come back. Okay. I've been doing this stuff, guys, I'll be honest with you. I am the most skeptical motherfucker on the planet. I've been doing this stuff. How did I do it? I did it, Carmen, I did it exactly the way I did it to you. You see, one of the things about this method is that at the level of the system that we're interacting with, there is fundamentally no difference between a physical issue and an emotional one. I have critical care doctors, MDs in the critical care unit that use the spinning technique on everything that comes in, from burns to kidney stones to broken legs, for pain control and symptom relief, because it's faster than drugs. Okay, but that's nowhere near the full potential of these techniques, right? So that's about all I have time for. Do you have questions? Do you guys have questions? I have time for one or two more questions, and then I gotta go do the family thing. All right. Shane says I'm in. It's purchased. Which course to start with? For everybody here, with very few exceptions, I would recommend you start with the very first thing, the Self-Mastery Supercharger, which are the Secrets of Personality Transformation, I think is the version you have. Start with that because it's all about yourself. That's going to give you the foundation techniques that are going to allow you to really start making some hardcore transformations in the shortest amount of time possible. After that, it's really up to you what your emphasis is. You can, if you're someone who's going to do change work, then you want to go into real world hypnotherapy, identity by design. If you're someone who wants to do more manifestation, then do the law of attraction. If you have a lot of influence in conversational applications, like maybe you work in a call center, you're a therapist, a coach, a mentor, negotiator, lawyer, talk therapist of some kind, then look at the verbal trainings, the self-CPI and renegade reframing. Regardless of where you're going to apply it, take the renegade reframing, the 14 belief patterns, and start applying those. But the renegade reframing was designed to be in conjunction or an extension of the stealth CPI. So if you want to get the biggest bang for your buck from renegade reframing, then do the stealth CPI first, and then move on to the reframe patterns in renegade reframing. Okay. So really, you're all going to start roughly the same place, and then you get to pick, depending on your application of choice. Okay. So, but if you do have more questions, and I love those questions, by the way, call us, email us. We're happy to talk to you about what your goals are, show you the most efficient way to move through the content. And if there's other trainings or live events or opportunities that we have, the number is Moss at nlppower.com or Mia at nlppower.com. Either one of them can help you. Moss mans the phones most of the time. Richard says, I feel like Batman with this stuff. Yes. Yes. You can do this anywhere. You can do this you can do this down the highway at 70 miles an hour. I don't recommend it. You can do this in a line at Starbucks, or you can do it in a clinic. It's really your call, right? So for those of you who are on the fence, I can't believe it's 10 p.m. time displacement. Good job. Well, I had a good audience. Frank Richards, Dr. David, late to the stream, but glad you're well and streaming. Thank you, Frank. Glad you're here. All right, so last call for this. I'm going to do one more little shout out. Where's my share? All right. So once again, be sure, if you haven't clicked the link already, please do so, right? And we'll get you started. To get the secrets of personality transformation, hidden laws of attraction, mind control manifestation, identity by design hypnotherapy home study course, stealth CPI, renegade reframing, NLP power mastermind mentoring 3-month trial, the stealth instant conversation hypnosis crash course, the VIP anything goes super ticket. Total value on this is $14,982. We're taking an extra $200 off the regular webinar special. You get it for $797, or if you need a little help, you can break that down into 3 easy installments of just $397 each. All you need to do is click that link and go to www.nlppower.com/mind. That's www.nlppower.com/MIND. Click the link now, because when I log off, the fast action bonuses go away. The rest of the package is available until 11:59 p.m. tonight. I love you all. And in the words of the immortal Carol Burnett, I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just got started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Good night, my friends. God bless. Take this power out into the world. Use it. Make your life, make the world a better place, one life at a time, starting with yours. I'll see you on the other side. Click those links. Good night. And as soon as I find my exit button, good night and God bless. Take care.